And I guess okay, I'm going to go into a little bit of backstory. Daddy Brian doesn't know much about my journey with leagues. Oxie does, because he's had to listen to
What
2.5
journey? You
years.
got a myth cup, bro.
Okay.
Myth Cup twice.
Okay. Hello and welcome back to Xpwaste, where I got a steel cup in the first ever leagues, and I'm not ashamed to say I was not a runner. I'm Michael.
And I'm Oxie. If you're new around here, you're in luck. We're a podcast that talks primarily about old school RuneScape, but today specifically, we're talking about leagues, which is coming up in like 10 minutes, a week from now, whatever the time frame is. I don't actually know when this episode comes out relative to leagues. I got to level with you. Maybe 6 days. This is the place to be. You will do better in leagues if you hang out and listen to this podcast. It's not clickbait, I can promise you. And how I know it's not clickbait, for those of you who aren't new around here, we're joined by a very special guest today. The man who helped myself and thousands of other RuneScape players through both the TRAILBLAZER League and the Shattered Relics League. Please introduce yourself, my friend.
Yo, Oxy, that was very generous and nice and good intro, boys. Great job.
Thank you.
I am WeSkillNow. Self-proclaimed? Nay. Proclaimed by others to be the leagues guy. I don't exactly know how that happened, but I'm just a guy that loves leagues, loves talking about leagues. Just happened to, maybe a few years ago at this point, I noticed that no one was talking about the upcoming TRAILBLAZER League. I'm talking about the first one. And I decided to start making videos on YouTube about it. And then I gathered a tribe around me, and they named me the leagues guy. So here I am. Michael and Oxy have honored me by inviting me onto the podcast to talk about this year's league, which just happens to be TRAILBLAZER 2. So let's do it.
Were you surprised that they brought back TRAILBLAZER?
No, not at all. I'm the leagues guy, so they've been talking about this for years already. This is not a surprise.
Really? Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So I think we first caught wind of it like end of Shattered Relics. There's a couple of questions that went out to Mod Ash because honestly, this community cannot stop tweeting questions at him 24/7. Bless his heart, he responds. It's incredible.
I don't know how he does it.
I don't know how he does it either, or like why he continues to it, but he's just got a great attitude about it.
Maybe
But
it's part of his like job description.
It's not.
Like, he's not a social media manager, but he kind of is.
He responded in a tweet like, we haven't really even started looking at what the next one would be, but it'll probably be a repeat.
Oh.
So. And then he went on to say probably of TRAILBLAZER. It was their most successful one stat-wise of a player count. So yeah, why wouldn't they?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I have a random question before we start getting into leagues. What should we call you? Do you have a nickname to your screen name? And if you can, if you've not, I don't know if you've like explained the idea behind your screen name. But
that's cute.
I'm curious to know why WeSkillNow.
You want to know why I have a gamer tag that's so bad, right?
It is interesting.
Oh, okay,
It's
that's
like
nice.
it's your account, but it's everyone account. We all skill now.
Right. It's a plural in the name.
Yeah.
Yes. There's so much that I can go into. I'll try to keep it short because people are here for leagues. But thanks for asking.
I love your Twitch chat, by the way.
What are they saying? Oh, I'm
Quotes interesting. They're flaming me. Anyway, continue.
So I'm also so I'm not only a part of the RuneScape community, I'm also part of the Smash Bros. Melee community. And when I enter tournaments, I use the same name, WeSkillNow. And I have been put on a community list where people gathered everyone's names up. They rated them. My name ended up on the very bottom in the trash tier. They don't like it over there. Okay?
Bottom of the trash tier.
Yeah.
F tier.
It was
If you're in the lower
below
tier.
F, man.
Oh my gosh.
No one likes this name. So the history is I had a friend. I grew up. This is how I relate to most people because in RuneScape, because we've got this childhood, right? Hopefully you guys are on my level here where we started playing this game as a kid. Me and my best friend were gooning like every day after school, making clockwork cats to afford our first Halloween mask and whatnot. And he had the idea that he wanted to form a clan. Clans were a different thing back then. Like if you had a clan, you would be going to the underground basement of the Blue Moon Inn and just like hanging out and like deciding what to do next. It was that kind of clan.
Nice.
And he wanted to name the clan WeSkillNow because he didn't like PvP, he didn't like killing monsters. PvM wasn't really a thing. Skilling was a thing. So he made a YouTube channel and we were like, yeah, let's make videos together. And then he stopped. And then he exited my life, and then I became WeSkillNow.
So you inherited it.
I did. Maybe less inherited. I took it. I very powerfully took it for myself.
Reclaimed it.
Yeah. But what can you call me? You can call me Brian if you want.
Okay, that's easier. Because I was going through the different ones. I'm like, should we call him We? Should we call him WeSkill? Should we call him Skill Now? Should we call him Skill? Because there's always this like nickname. You have to like figure out the nickname. We had Solo Mission on, and I was like, do I call you Solo? Call you Solo Mission?
Well, that one's simple enough.
Do I call you Mission? I don't know. And he
What
said,
did you
just call me
choose?
Solo Mission.
Nice.
It's Solo Mission.
Yeah, he's like, well,
wait,
branding.
does he have his real name out there, doesn't he? I can't remember. Oxy, did he say anything about his real name?
I've heard his real name, but off the top of my head, I don't remember.
I do not remember Solo Mission's name.
Joel. There it is.
Joel.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think we called him Joel once.
Not once. No.
I love that
Not
guy,
once.
by the way.
He was great.
He
was a lot of fun
he's
to have on
very
the show.
good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, chat is suggesting that my nickname. Yeah, the
Call
Brian
me
thing was a
Daddy.
joke. Yeah, call me Daddy.
Wait, your name's not actually Brian?
It's Daddy.
Oh, okay. Daddy Brian.
Well, folks, we said this would be the place for leagues, and we are not here to disappoint.
Right, we've failed in our content delivery so far. Let's talk about leagues, or well, whatever else you have planned. It's not my show. Whatever.
So normally at the start of the episode, we talk about what we've been up to. That is optional. If we want to dive into the leaguesness, I'm all for it because I'm expecting this conversation to go for at least 3 hours.
Christ.
And
I mean, yay.
so you start talking, you just can't stop. That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
So we could talk about leagues the entire time. I'm down for that. Like I said, I don't think we had started just yet, but Oxy said this was 3 of the best people to talk about leagues with, and I said, actually no, it's about 2.5. So I'm gonna let the main 2 guys here take it away.
Hold on now. This guy's out here making it seem like he doesn't know how to play RuneScape, right? Because all leagues is RuneScape on every steroid imaginable.
Yes,
Like, everything is. It's still just the same game. It's played in some wacky ways, but most of the mechanics are the same. It's just how you interact with them, and interacting with them the correct way in the main game isn't wrong. There's usually just some wacky method that's better. Like, don't run with the shield at the Inferno. Just stand there with absolute unit and recoil damage Zuck to death. Like, there's always doing it correctly is never wrong. You know, it's just
right. It's a strategy I'm just unaware of. And I guess I'm going to go into a little bit of backstory. Daddy Brian doesn't know much about my journey with leagues. Oxy
It's
does
true.
because he's
It's
had
true.
to listen to.
What
2.5
journey? You got a
years.
myth cup, bro.
Okay.
Up twice.
Okay.
What journey? Did you log in more than 2 days?
Guys, I don't know, man. I'm making all this progress on this account. And
Wait, Oxy, take it away.
I don't know. I feel like I could be making these gains on my main. Like I'm trying to max, like I just feel like my time is better served in the main account. Michael, you don't think it's going to be weird going from 450k an hour to like 30k an hour? It's funny you mentioned that. I feel like it takes something away from the skill itself. Like you're one ticking Crombon's for 16 mil an hour XP. That just seems so weird. I feel
am
like
I hearing a flashback right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Is this
Did
you? Okay. What I'm hearing is John's. Like you gave up. Decided to like, oh, I need to get real progress. You just weren't cut out for leagues.
I wasn't cut out for leagues because the goals that I had in RuneScape didn't align with the time commitment that leagues required. I mean, what is like the last one was what, like 10 weeks?
Too long.
8 weeks.
The last one
weeks.
was too long.
I don't know, like 2.5 months of my life not. I got 99 rune crafting in 2 months. So like I had a lot of goals that I just couldn't like peel myself away from. I tried. I actually tried. I think I played.
You did give it the old
league,
college try for
like
both Trailblazer
work.
and Shattered Relics.
I took off work.
Wait. You
streamed.
went in like intentionally. You went and took off work, but you still gave up.
I still gave up.
Wow.
The Twisted League. I did I streamed at the time, and I did a 24-hour stream where I played leagues pretty much the entire time when I wasn't like, just goofing off. So like I got a myth cup. Just like the goalpost.
I just can't keep
moving.
it together when you say that.
I got a mithril cup.
Can we talk about the tiers? It's 1% dragon, 5% rune, 10% addy, 20% myth.
Top 20%.
Wait a minute.
That's a lot.
Myth is kind of legit.
Is that the
it goes
skill
bronze, steel.
Actually,
black.
is it 5 is rune and 20 is addy?
I thought dragon was 0.1 and rune was 1 or something like that.
No. Rune's definitely 5, but addy might be 20. And then myth would be...
If I was in the top 50%, I think that's still pretty decent
No.
for like not trying. But this time...
Wait, sir, you can't both say that you weren't trying and then
Brian.
also you had a 24-hour stream. Yes, continue.
Listen, this time I am maxed. I'm done.
Oh,
I don't have any maxing goals on my main account.
No excuses.
And my group Iron Man...
hold on now. There might be this. Hold on now.
Now I'm playing on my group Iron Man.
I see. I see.
My only goal right now in the group Iron Man is to get a whip. I have killed 560 Abbey demons.
Okay, so
last,
barely over what you're supposed to.
I know, barely over the drop rate, but I've been boosting, so I've had to kill them with wild pies using Shadow Burst.
Oh my god.
And that's so many runes. So they're slow kills. I'm not like, sitting there killing one at a time with 85 Slayer. I have 82 Slayer.
My god. Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
That's my only goal.
Okay.
And if I can get a whip before leagues, which is in like a week, we're fine. We're good.
So Michael, I really like what you're presenting me with here because I'm taking it as a direct challenge, actually. It's not like we're just sitting down here as a couple of allies thinking about, hey, we both love leagues. This is more so become, Brian, you've got to convince this guy that leagues is worth his time.
Yes.
Can I do it?
And for the folks at home who are unsure about playing leagues, this is the episode. If he can convince Michael to play leagues, you guys are probably already hooked. I gotta level with you.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oxy knows about me and leagues, so I guess we'll get into
It's a bit of a... I would say it's a storied history, but not really. It's like, dog, you sure you're gonna go back to the main game? It's day 3. He goes, sorry, dude, I gotta do it, and then doesn't log back in until the very end, where he's like, maybe I can get some points for cosmetics on my Iron Man, and then just stops.
I do want all the cosmetics. Like, I'm gonna have a whip, so I'm gonna want the Shattered Relics whip.
You like that, like the ghostly, like train blue whip?
The
You like
chain,
that?
I want all the
Why do you like
Trailblazer
that?
or like weapon kit or not toolkits. I like it because not a lot of people have it.
This is
Like,
actually
I
really
don't
interesting because
see-
I think the answer to all of this motivation is what are our incentives. Some people it is the cup. Some people it is the cosmetics, or as I like to call that crowd, the casuals. Some people it's for the pure fun of what this experience is. I really love being with the crowd and experimenting and finding out this new world together at the same time. It's exhilarating. I think to get enough points to get basically every cosmetic, it's not very hard to do. And
No, it's
you'd
like
probably take like 1
20K,
week
I
and
think.
get it completely done.
Well, if you get the cosmetics from just that one league, but there's all of the other
Sure.
ones from the past leagues to get too.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have any points stored up on this account because I'm going fresh. This is a fresh account. This is an account that's never played on leagues before, and so
You will be playing on your maxed account?
my group Iron Man.
Your group Iron Man. Okay.
Yeah. And if I do play on my main, I'll be playing the main game, probably just cooking all the sharks that I've lost a bunch of money on.
Oh, the sharks. You see, I'm in the opposite boat. I checked the other day, and I have almost enough points to buy everything from Shattered Relics. I think I have like 9 or 10K left over from Shattered Relics. So points I'm not as worried about because I'll make up the other like 11,000 points I'll need throughout the league. I do love the cosmetics. I'm a whore for a good untradeable cosmetic. Even though they're all tradable, I just like the idea that, like, yeah, I earned that. You know, when I had to sell my Void kits for my T-Bow rebuild and my Cannon kits and all that, I felt I was very sad. It was like an extra 13 mil or something like that, so I couldn't not sell it. But, you know, it feels bad to have to get rid of that. I also have, you know, the chain whip or whatever.
Okay.
Truly just because, like, I got that chain whip myself, even if I don't use it anywhere other than like Bloodveld Slayer. But
Yeah, with the Fang, I never take my whip out on my main.
so
I'll
what I'm
use my
hearing is
whip
Michael's going for the cosmetic for the
everywhere.
Fang kit. Okay, boys, get the ats ready. We're going to 500
Oh,
too.
no, we're not.
So I just wanted to confirm my memory, and I wanted to prove my point that I was so not into playing leagues for the cosmetics that I went over to Catherby, did the trade option. Yeah, I've got 72,000 league points unclaimed here. So I literally just like log off after leagues and I don't even go to the shop. It does not
dude.
matter at all.
Dude, it's so much money you're missing out on.
It's not even for the money, dude. I just think it's cool to have all the new stuff. That said, I got 2 rune cups sitting in my POH, and my pedestal looks weird because I don't have a third. I came back to RuneScape like the last 2 days of Twisted League, and I didn't even have my bearings enough to know what a league was. I don't even know if I had membership. I got to level with you. When I came, I played on mobile. I transferred to my computer. I kind of, you know, fell off for a little while, and then I came back because someone gifted me a subscription to a stream. So I came back and I watched the streamer play the very tail end of Twisted League, had no idea what was happening, and just came back into the main game. So for Shattered Relics and for Trailblazer, I have 2 rune cups, and I have an empty pedestal that needs another rune cup. That said, the rune cups for both of the last leagues were misery to obtain for me.
What?
I also have a full-time day job. I'm a therapist, and I was in graduate school during both of the leagues. So I didn't have all the time in the world afforded to me. I think for the first Trailblazer League, I was also learning how to play the game. Like I quote unquote learned how to do Tob in the Trailblazer. Sure. I learned how to do, God, I think in the main game I had maybe like 84 Slayer at the time. So I learned how to do Sire, Kraken, Thermi, Cerberus. I learned how to do, I don't think I had ever gone to Kriara by myself, let alone for more than like 20 kills total with friends in the main game.
Yeah, I love what you're saying right now. Just the opportunity to learn so many different things.
Yeah, and it really helped kind of like the first Trailblazer League helped spark a like, hey, we want to learn how to play this game for real now, which also led to, and this is not a joke, 1 completion in 96 failed attempts at Theater of Blood with my team. Because I was like, oh, dude, I did this shit in leagues. I can do it in the main game. It was not the same thing. It was very much Nilo Room without a 2-tick tent whip is a very different experience in the main game.
Dude,
But
I love it.
yeah. And then I think when Shattered Relics came around, I was a little bit better of a player. I knew how to manage my time a little bit more efficiently. It did not take the hold over me like Trailblazer did.
That's right.
I wanted a Rune Cup, but
Love
they extended
that you
it.
said that.
They gave us the Renown stimmy, and that just kind of like, I had nothing left to work for. Like I had unlocked, I needed one more skill to unlock with Renown, and then they gave us everything, and I was like,
You know, Oxie, we're actually sitting here with a co-host who didn't even play. Does he, Michael? Are you like understanding what the Renown?
So
stimmy was?
Michael understands very well because we documented the journey in leagues week to week here on
Nice.
Xpwaste. So if you go back to that time period while I was playing Shattered Relics League, the first couple of Xpwaste episodes are like, fuck yeah, leagues, this is the best thing that ever happened. I just got a relic by lighting a fire and kicking a man in the dick. By like week 9, I was like, I swear to God, I can't. If they extend the league again, I think I'm going to throw up. Like, I was suffering, and I think that's part of it. I don't think it had the same kind of appeal that Trailblazer did. I got everything handed to me for free, which as a person, I don't really like, so leeching 600 renown for doing absolutely nothing didn't feel great. And then once everything was unlocked, the game was just fast Iron Man mode. And I am not an Iron Man. I have an Iron Man that I play with Michael, but I am Mainscape on my chest here in 2023.
I'm glad you clarified that because you never know what's going to happen.
No, I will say now, playing the groupie with Michael and my other group mate TMD, who are kind of like forcing me to learn how to play Iron Man, and they have since GIM came out. I feel a little bit better prepared specifically for the early game of Trailblazer. And then once we get into the PVM, oh god, I can't wait. It's going to be so stupid and so fun. I know how to play this game now, and I can't wait to manipulate it.
Dude, I'm
with
excited
the stupid
for you.
relics.
That's
I
awesome.
cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun.
I didn't want to let this get thrown to the wayside. You mentioned the Renown stimmy. You said you're familiar with my content. Did you see, like, I don't know if you saw this video that I put out in reaction to that particular JKX decision, but I can share the thumbnail of it in your Discord here.
Go for it, because I gotta live with you. I probably did watch it. There was a period of time where everything this man released with leagues, I had like hardwired into my nervous system. So I probably saw it, but
Dropped
it was
it
a
in the
long time
Discord.
ago.
There it is, right there.
Oh yeah, there it is. No, yep, that sounds about right.
And I just went off in that video of like, yeah, it is. There's no decisions to be made in this league. It is just fast iron mode. And I'm glad that Trailblazer 2 is here, and they have gone back on the Shattered Relic decision of letting everyone just use any choice they want, with the only inconvenience being that you have to go to a bank and use a terrible UI system to change out your superpowers.
The fact that we needed the plugin for that UI was horrible.
Yes.
That shit was terrible.
Yes. And they've made strides this year to actually show us, look, we've got adjustable window sizes this year. Like, we've got the most basic things but it shows that they're paying attention to like the experience this time around. I'm thinking that Reloaded is going to be hot.
I cannot wait. Not having to have like one monitor has Discord and RuneScape and YouTube, and the other monitor is just a full 24 inches of a spreadsheet that some guy in England made with all 80,000 tasks of the league right in front of you. Like, it's going to be so nice. You can look at the tasks while you're just like AFK and shit. Because like, there will still be AFK time in League. Even for those, if you've not played before and you're hearing us talk about like, rev up the Bugatti, baby. We're going to rip through leagues like crazy. There will still be downtime. You still have to AFK, various skilling pieces, whether it's production or gathering. So it's not all go, go, go. And every RuneScape player floats through menus or floats through wikis when they AFK.
Yeah.
So
I don't think you touched on this, but in terms of the new UI, did you notice perhaps the biggest change, which is you're going to be able to check through the menus this time in-game without interrupting your action?
yes, that's huge.
Oh my God.
That
So
is
nice.
a change that they need to make to almost
Just
every
everything
menu in the game. Yep.
Yeah, no kidding.
I noticed earlier while AFKing, I think I was doing AFKing Ammonite crabs at work. I wanted to see what I needed for a request or an achievement diary, and I couldn't keep it open. And I'm like, why have they not done this for quests and diaries and combat achievements and all that? I think that change has to come everywhere. And I think if they can get it to work with leagues, I give them 6 months, and it gets into the main game for every non-settings menu. I think should not interrupt gameplay.
I would love it for the settings menu. Like, I've been playing a lot of mobile, and with the ground items plugin, you have to go into the settings and then turn on ground items edit, and then it gives you the option to hide or highlight things, and then you have to go back into the settings and you have to turn off the edit mode versus just like being able to hold a key and then edit like the ground, like whether or not you can see things on the ground. So like when I was killing Abbey demons, I didn't have the abyssal ashes turned off, and so I had to like leave the room, not be aggroed by anything, spend a couple minutes just like configuring my drops so it's my screen is not just all text.
So
and then
it's okay though, because like you are actively choosing to be boneheaded enough to not go and do all your settings on your PC first before switching over to mobile.
Oh, I've never once loaded up the Steam client. Do the settings carry over on the Steam client?
Well, no, I was being needlessly provocative, but I guess the thing would have been move yourself over to your safe zone and then do things. I was like halfway through my sentence and I was like, this isn't actually working.
I was gonna say, does this man know for sure that it works?
No, he doesn't.
It's not like a vanilla setting. At least not for mobile and desktop. But yeah, mobile with the ground items is rough.
Here's my concern for the podcast so far. We had an intro about making people better at leagues, but we have yet to make good on that promise.
Oh, let's do it.
Baby girl, daddy.
Do you have a 10-step program?
Daddy Brian here. You gotta let him cook for a minute. Right?
Okay.
I know we're eager to get into it, right? But
well then I've been preheating. When does the cooking start?
That's a good question. We never really know. This is a bit of a longer form piece of content that we tend to do.
Okay.
But if we're talking about leagues, right? I guess if the theme is making people better, right? They probably should know the point threshold cutoff for the cups, right? Because you're gonna guess what, 30,000 points, maybe 25,000 points for all the items.
Okay, you were saying that, and I was like, does this man know? Because that's yet to be announced, right?
It has yet to be announced, but I mean, if you look at the trends from the other league, the tier 3 alpha is going to be 15,000 points. The teleport's going to be anywhere between 500 and 1,000 points. The weapon ornament kits are going to be anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 points a piece. Like, there are some pieces that we don't know, but we can probably speculate looking at past leagues. So I would guess anywhere between like 25 and 32 to 35,000 for all the points you'd need. The cups, though. So in the past, it used to be, Adamant was top 20, top 10. Mithril was top 40.
Yes, chat has recently confirmed what this actually was.
Yeah.
Addy was top 20, and Myth was top 40. Sorry, Michael.
Yeah.
That's still good.
Okay.
Top 40%?
Really, bro?
That's not the bottom
Rune
90.
was top 5, and Dragon was top 1. I heard, and I think I heard it on a stream somewhere, like a RuneScape, official old school RuneScape stream, that they're doing away with the fluid point percentages and
Correct.
sticking with like a stagnant point cutoff. For
Yeah,
what
the
that's
term
gonna
is
look like.
static. So right at the beginning of the league, you're going to know I need X number of points to reach the Dragon Cup. That is completely different from every other year. Every other year, you just had to log in every day and look at the high scores and think, am I in the top 1% of players? That was also hard to track because you didn't know how many people were playing.
Mm-hmm.
And it kept moving.
And it kept moving.
If you had to take a day off, then that's just more work
It just
that you
didn't
had to do to catch up.
It just didn't feel healthy. For both Trailblazer and Shattered Relics, I'm in an old Discord with some of my buddies from that. Funny enough, from that same streamer who I got gifted a sub in their chat from way back in the day. They have a bot every day during leagues that would show the percentages for what the cutoff was for all the cups. And I remember during Trailblazer, that final 24 hours was, I think, as stressful as it got. Because if I was top 5%, I was like top 4.89%. Like I wasn't comfortably in Rune. So every day was like a fight to get there.
Yeah.
And then I think at the end of Shattered Relics, I actually felt just so bad at the end of the league. Because like I had the competitive obligation to just keep playing. That like I think the second to last day or the third to last day, I was maybe 6,000 points ahead of the Rune Cup cutoff and was like, you know what? If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I'm not logging into this game again. I physically can't do it. And that sucked to feel that way about a league. Still got the Rune Cup, thankfully, but I think the static points are going to be far health. I mean, for me as a player, I know they're going to be a lot healthier for me to obtain because I'm either going to get it or I'm not. Meaning, like
the other. Sorry, go ahead. Finish that sentence.
No, I was just going to say, like, I'm either going to know that I'm going to get the cup that I want, or I know that I'm not going to get it.
True,
And
you can have some more confidence.
Yeah, there's nothing that right now that tells me I'm not going to get Rune. The question is, how close am I going to be to Dragon, and how much am I going to have to, like, white knuckle the league if I get that close? So,
the other adorable aspect of the moving goalposts is the strange point system on the high scores, where players were able to stock points without officially banking them. And so on the final day, that's why you had the crazy rockets of just the goalposts moving in the final 24 hours. Remember that?
It was so stressful. It was so stressful. As a player who, like, well, I can barely do 5 Theater of Blood. I can't do 500. How am I supposed to get, how am I supposed to get that task done, So for me, it was like, burn everything, craft everything, do everything I have in my bank to get me close to some sort of point threshold. And we did pull it out, but still, the first Trailblazer was very stressful. I also wasn't, I think the day Trailblazer ended, I wasn't doing anything the next day, and I was awake at the very end when we all marched from Varrock to Lumbridge at like 5 o'clock in the morning Eastern time.
Yeah, and dropped all your stuff.
I dropped everything beforehand. So I think all I had was my Rift Guardian and then some other item that I remember not being able to drop or destroy for some reason. I don't remember what it was. But I had my Rift Guardian, and my buddy, he got a 3rd age piece. And my buddy Greg and I walked with the crowd 5 a.m. And then the server shut down. It kicked us out, said the server has closed, and that was it. That was the end of Trailblazer. I did not have as fun of an ending for Shattered Relics. It was, thank God that shit is done. I didn't even go to the closing party for Shattered Relics. I just couldn't bear to log back in. It was rough.
Wow. It sounds like you've got a lot of unresolved feelings for a therapist.
I am a man with a flair for the dramatic, so I don't think it was that much of a toll as I'm speaking it to be, but it just really felt bad. I was so excited, and Michael can attest. I was so excited for Shattered Relics. I was so excited. We talked planning. When they moved it back, we were just so sad the first time when they pushed it back. And then truly for the first several weeks, I was very, very, very excited. And then the dopamine of the renowned stimmy just killed. Like once that wore off, it was done. Then it was just, now we have to push to get this blue trophy. And that's all I care about, you know?
I got a blue trophy.
Yeah, you
my
do.
light blue,
Good
my
job.
light blue trophy.
Can we just
No,
agree
I'm
that that's
specify.
purple, actually?
Mithril?
Yeah.
It's not purple.
Okay, that's fine. But, like, in the context of comparing it to Rune, yeah.
Let me log in and.
You're about to go
He's
buy
got a
some
trophy.
Mithril?
He's got a
No, I'm gonna
flip
pull
for
up the
him.
trophy. So what I'm hearing is a lot of regret. And do you guys think that there will be this talk of regret? And like, say we all sit down a year from now, and we have the same exact conversation. Leagues 5 is about to happen, and we're gonna look back at Trailblazer 4, Trailblazer 2 technically, Leagues 4. Are we gonna have the same regret? And if not, what changed? Just like future planning here.
We officially are going to have the same regret, and I can tell you why.
Okay.
It's because we are all older, and the magic of euphoria of playing it for the first time is not there anymore.
Yeah.
If Shattered Relics was your first one, Oxie, you would have adored it.
Probably.
That's true.
Probably would have.
Yeah. So you
But-
guys remember how I said Twisted was my favorite? It was my first
Yep.
one. It's not really fair.
It is,
Yeah.
it's not fair to compare to the first, but a little bit more optimistically and a little bit less existential dready. I'm anticipating us not having the exact same kind of like regret and dread and like, wow, that shit sucked like we did for Shattered Relics, because of the choices that we're being forced to make, right? It's going to
Nice.
be memorable in some way or another. There's one decision that could ruin the league for people, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, and I sure hope they don't make it a decision. But other than that single decision, I don't think, at least I hope that by now Jagex has learned from Twisted and the first Trailblazer
yeah.
League to not make game-changing relics an option, to just make them passives.
Yeah,
We
I
got-
believe what you're referring to has been confirmed as passive.
God bless. Folks, if you are not new to leagues, if it's confirmed that Last Recall is a passive, I don't think we're going to have any problems. Because that
Yeah,
was the
any
killer in
chatters got my back
Trailblazer.
here on this one? Yeah, Last Recall passive, running passive.
I think they've hinted at it. I don't know if there's anywhere where it's actually confirmed. I think the only one that is confirmed, well, I'd say confirmed like very lightly. But there's talk and speculation that like unlimited run is not going to be a guarantee, because they said, is unlimited run going to be in this
Okay.
league? And all they said is yes.
Okay, not confirmed yet.
Yeah. So I don't know. It says, do we still get on infinite run energy? And all they say is yes.
Yes.
Exclamation point. So like you can
Yes.
still get it, but do you have to pick it?
Okay, so
'Cause
Bloodhound
we
is
have a
walking
league's-
behind me in game with a blue cup. Wait,
That's me.
Steel. Where's your myth one?
That's Smith.
This is Steel.
Oh, that's steel. Okay, well that's my twisted trophy.
I was
BRB.
going to say, Michael,
He
please
says
tell me.
BRB.
It had blue on it.
Oh,
It's a
man.
big steel cup that you're holding in one hand, and there's blue gems on it. And this
Good
guy thinks it's a
God.
myth cup.
Good God.
We have a leagues chat dedicated. We have like a leagues channel, and there was a lot of chatter this morning talking about like, are they going to make us pick between infinite run and last recall? Is that going to be the
No, that would
the
be
relic choice?
That would be kind of shitty, I think. I don't think they would do that. I think they know they would piss everybody off by doing that.
You know what? My myth cup is on my Iron Man,
Oh my God.
not on this account.
So the thing is that both of us have access
Hold
to
on.
myth cups also. Those with, because you get all of the lower cups as well.
How do you find the cup? Is it at a tutor?
How
Is that like
do
a
you
leagues
find
person?
the cup?
Catherby.
Go
Let's
to
go to
Catherby, yeah.
Catherby.
Did
Yeah.
what, this cup?
So I've let a couple of things fly by so far that I can spicily fight you on now. But
that you've seen me
I'll try to do it in a bit of an orderly fashion, though. I won't go back to the other one, which is static point thresholds. But I'll fight you on having infinite run as being so necessary. I don't really care. Like, you make it through the game as is currently. In the normal game, how often do you find yourself walking? Not very often. And as you progress through the leagues, you'll find similar ways to go about it. Heaven forbid you have to utilize an energy potion here and there during the early game, but you'll make it work by the end.
They were talking about that in our league's chat today, that the only reason why not having run sucked in Twisted League was because there was no way to get anywhere.
And there's no teleports in Twisted in particular. Yeah.
Yeah, like they didn't have there was no good transport method. So it was like, all right, walk from Winter Todd to Sand Crabs. That sucked. But now it's a little bit different. We've got the book, we've got the Xerix Talisman. I don't remember if the mine carts were a thing back then. I'd be interested to know if they gave you access to fairy rings, so I'm not sure. No, we didn't even have Korend Lowland at the time, did we? I don't remember if we had Hydra in the first league. No, we did. I think we did because I remember hearing that Hydra dropped the Dragon Hunter Lance, not
correct.
the Claw. Yeah. So as far as like relevant teleports, they probably just didn't give players enough access to them to make
it's
it
just
worth
the way
their while.
Korend is designed, and even more so back then. It was harder to get around the giant island. And I was Walker back then and didn't care.
Yeah. Francine in our recording booth chat brings up a good point. They say, have you been to Blast Furnace, run quickly drains, and you walk? I think for some activities, not having unlimited run in a league and also not having access to stamina potions in particular are also going to be tough. And I know stamina potions, I think there's 3 ways. There's the Dr. Jekyll method.
Yep.
Which I've heard was a staple in Twisted League. There's the obviously Birth Orb. You unlock Asgarnia, you get the Amylase crystals, and then there is the Tob supply chest, which you can get 2 staminas per theater of blood, as long as you get past Soda Seg, which doesn't seem great.
I theorized and got quickly shot down that they would allow stamina to drop as like a drop from other monsters and not necessarily that you had to craft them if that's the case. But that, I don't know, that doesn't seem very viable in the sense that they haven't really ever had the precedent of, at least in leagues, that you kill a goblin and a dragon scimitar drops. I'm thinking of like Dead Man mode where drop tables are crazy.
Right. Because they're appealing to the PKR audience, and the PKR audience doesn't necessarily want to play the game. They want to experience PvP.
So with unlimited run, the opinion that it's not a necessity, I think that's fair for most cases, right? I think it's the high levels of what you're doing that you need stamina. It's solo chambers. It's, Blast Furnace to 99. But because it's also leagues, I'm not 100% sure, A, if Fremennik is going to be my choice anyways, and B, you probably can just smith normally in leagues and get comparable, if not more XP to Blast Furnace in the main game. By
there's plenty of builds where you can be mining iron ore and get like triple smithing experience.
Yeah.
Triple times 8, triple times 20. So
it's true.
Yeah. I think there are definitely some points where like stamina would be nice. P3 Verzik stamina would be nice. But I can understand the point why it's not a necessity. I think
because you play the normal game with like the normal game.
True.
It's survivable.
I think they won't pit Last Recall and Unlimited Run against one another, because I think that forces the player into a decision where no matter what, they're going to feel like they've maybe made the wrong choice for some instances.
Don't you think that that's like the juiciest thing that you can feel, though?
But is it a good feeling?
No.
Like I think for like the combat relics are a perfect example, right? I am a melee Andy. The idea of a 2-tick scythe just gets me going. I
it's gonna
love
be
it.
fun.
It sounds so much fun.
Heck yeah.
That said, if I get a twisted bow while doing my first chambers before I even step foot in Tob, I'm going to be kind of sad that I didn't take the range relic.
I know.
But I'm still going to have a T-bow, and I'm still going to have a 2-tick scythe, right? It's a decision
going to be so
where, like,
interesting. We are choosing one route, one mode.
Like, that kind of sucks, but I don't think it's game-breaking, or I don't really, like, regret playing, right? If you chose the fairy ring relic in Trailblazer, you probably regret that decision
Yeah.
a lot, you know?
I remember just one person who chose it and had to keep playing. Do you guys remember?
No.
It was
No.
Tedious.
Ugh.
Tedious had
Sounds
a
tedious.
spreadsheet that forced him to choose it. He went with a random choice. And he knew what he was doing, but he randomed into it, sadly.
The perk was that like you could make a fairy ring anywhere, but then you could only teleport to actual fairy rings, right?
I
Like, you could
don't
just
remember.
Place a fairy ring. That's
Did you
such a
have it? I
useless-
think you might have had an item that
You got the
teleported
mushroom.
to any fairy ring.
In our recording booth chat, Francine says, I got the fairy ring relic, do not regret it, still got rune cup.
What?
So I suppose it does go to show that you can pick a shitty relic, and if you dedicate yourself enough, you can still perform well in the league. You're not going to have the same metas as everybody else. But
That's
it's
just
possible.
a wrong decision. Wow.
It's
I'm
wild.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't even
No.
think I got that far to get last relic. If I'm being
Dog,
honest,
it
with
was
you.
like the tier
It
3
was-
choice.
I think it was tier
Yeah, I don't
2.
think I don't think I got
Oh
there.
my god.
No, I did get there. I did get there because I also got. I chose Kandrin, and I had the Grand Seed pod with last recall.
Yep.
Yeah, because that was fun. I think it's confirmed that if you select desert, which way more people are going to select desert this time around,
Yeah.
that you get Desert Treasure 2 completed with access to any of the DT2 bosses that you have unlocked.
That you have access
with,
to.
With
And-
Leviathan being in the desert.
And they can drop all pieces of the axe.
Yes, I heard that. Did they just drop a whole axe? Is that what you think is going to happen? They just drop the whole axe?
I don't know about that. But I wouldn't be too surprised, though.
I think it could go in that direction. I think they're
Yeah.
going to drop the completed ring, right? They're not just going to drop the vestige without access to the other relevant rings, surely. So it wouldn't surprise me if they drop the whole Soul Reaper axe. I think I recently watched one of your videos, as I said, fangirl, where you talked about a player who got Dragon Cup after selecting the desert.
Yeah.
And that's because the tasks looked really crusty on paper, but really weren't that bad to go for.
Right. We're talking like Pyramid Plunder. Did they like really list Mage Training Arena as being not that bad? I don't know if I can really believe that.
I don't know, but minigame points being boosted to what are they? I've got
Yeah.
it pulled up on Twitter now. Minigame points are boosted to 8 times at the final relic. Holy shit.
Which is so
That's
sick.
like-
Like you best not be grinding Mage Training Arena until you're at the last relic.
Oh my god, absolutely not. I think that'll be really nice for people going for Void in Asgarnia, though, because at times 8, that's 40 points per 100 combat game. That's insane. And if that also applies to things like Chompy Birds for the Western provinces, oh,
Ooh.
that is awesome.
Wait a minute. There's a whole list somewhere, probably dropped in the Discord by a mod. I doubt it. I doubt it would be Chompy Birds.
Well, they had one that worked for Chompy Birds last time, and I don't think it was just for Chompy Birds.
That's a
I think
good
it counted
point.
for
That's a very good
other
point.
for other pieces. So I
It
don't
is
know.
Chompies. People think that it's Chompies.
I mean, in any case, I think the only things it wouldn't apply to that people might expect it to apply to are Zelcano, Wintertodd, and Temporos. Not sure if Guardians of the Rift counts as a minigame.
It's also mulch pearls added today. Times 8 on mulch pearls. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sick.
Confident.
I got a yes.
I mean, if that's the case, that's good, because if you're selecting Zaya, which, by the way, this is an Oxy opinion right here. Zaya is a must, right? Kandarin as Garnia, the Kandarin felt like the must in the first Trailblazer League. Zaya feels like the must in this league. There's so much to do and so much potential in Zaya.
It does feel that way. And,
surely there's going to be aerial fishing tasks.
To me, it feels like a must based purely on the nostalgia of being able to grind in Zaya in a league, because I love Twisted so much. But I did see a thumbnail that YouTube decided to push my way that was like, everyone's going to make this mistake, and the thumbnail insinuated that you shouldn't take Zaya, but I didn't watch it, so now that's on my mind.
That's a clickbait. Like, why would you not?
That's a clickbait? No.
It's on my list.
Maybe they're right.
This is tentative, right? Kandrin or Asgarnia.
Wait a minute. Are we going into this? This is like the biggest topic of the video.
Well, we're doing it. We're diving in. We can't wait now. We slipped and we're in the deep end.
Okay.
We'll tangent. We'll flounder, but we're here now.
So tell me, you were about to go into your first three, or your three. What's your first one that you would do?
Okay. So I'm going to tell you my three, and then I need you guys to help me pick which one first. I think I know which one first, but
okay.
So I'm going either Kandrin or Asgarnia, because you really can't pass up
either Kandrin or Asgarnia. The two, like,
they are massive pieces of content.
They're like a glue region, both of them.
Sticky together. Zaya,
okay,
obviously, and then the Wilderness.
You're a Wilderness guy.
You can't get PK'd. You can, but like it means nothing.
Why? Wait a minute.
You can.
That's the one place you can.
But it means nothing. Like, you don't lose anything.
Yeah.
It's just a minor inconvenience. The Chaos Altar is going to be huge. All of the new Wildy bosses, they drop such good supplies.
I think that I would, if I chose Wilderness, I think I would get Seasonal Depression. I think that's my big reason to not go there.
I need
a little sunlight, okay? Spend some more time in Current.
Yeah, you just got to go over to Karen for your sunlight. But I tried to get a Dragon Warhammer on my group Ironman, and I did about 46 Calvarion, and I got the Dragon pickaxe.
I was like,
you were saying,
I was like, dog, there is no way you are going for your Dragon Warhammer and your GIM at this point. I know your GIM. There's no way.
I was going for my Dragon pickaxe. And I did 46 Calvarion KC, and I got hooked. It's fun content, and I want to learn how to do the other two. And I don't know, just like the supplies were great. Some of them you can only use in the Wilderness, which is fine. But I don't know. Revs seem pretty chill. The money from Revs is going to be nice.
Early game money at Revs is going to be nice. Early game, especially when Revenants, like you said, when PKing doesn't matter. You know, when you're not. The only thing that's going to stock early game is the Revenant Cave fee. That might be rough to get into.
Early game, sure.
That's a fun detail, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
the Revenant Cave fee, and then the bossing layer fees are going to be tough early game. But I don't know about supplies necessarily, because again, a lot of it's going to be blighted. But I mean, I'm sure there's some resource area niche you could exploit with selecting Wilderness.
So it's only a problem if it's your first pick. Is there a chance that it's your first pick?
So my first pick was probably going to be Zaya, because there's a lot to do. I mean, it's only like maybe 15 or 20 games of Wintertide to get 99 fire making, but you can get money from Wintertide, and there's a lot of early game supplies.
I think we're talking about money as in like 10,000 gold pieces.
I mean, from...
I said gold pieces all the way across to make it sound like an even smaller amount.
Gold piece. Yeah. I haven't really worked out the whole money thing, but it's not a concern. I mean,
Good. So it's not a concern. So then why even bring it up as a benefit to Revenant Caves?
Oh, I mean, there's going to be times where you do need money, but like the entry fees and getting into the Revenant Caves is not a concern.
I'm thinking.
As long as I can make my
more,
first 100K, I'm golden. Set.
I'm thinking more along the lines of like, if let's say PvP doesn't matter and you don't lose your fee when you die, right? It's 100K to get in. The alchables can be used to buy chaos runes, which helps you get fury quickly. And then, Michael, if you go the Kandrin route, it helps you buy 4 more onyxes for your Zenites. So having the Revenant Cave cash flow earlier on is nice.
Okay.
The thing is, the more you play, the more you do PVM, the more money just sort of like shows up, because it's
right.
When you get something like an Avernic Defender Hill, right? In the main game, you get the daily Avernic, you split it out. In leagues, once you get your second Avernic, that's a 2.5 mil alch, baby. You just alch it and you have the cash right there. And then like, you go for your Bandos, or you go for your Krill KC and your Zammy Spear and all that. And those bosses drop, 20K at a time. But when you're killing, 85 an hour, the money stacks up without even really realizing it, when you get into that sort of like PVM cycle.
And I think that's true for most areas and most play styles.
Yeah, I would agree that's going to apply pretty much everywhere. I can't really think of anywhere where there isn't a boss that doesn't kind of consistently shit out a little bit of money at a time. Some of them have a little bit of higher barrier to entry. Like Mistalin's kind of weak until you get Sire. Do you remember how bad Sire was if you didn't pick Desert?
Yeah, I was like learning
God.
how to do it for the first time in that scenario too.
Same. I had never done Sire prior to the first Trailblazer League.
Which is such a shame. It's like kind of fun and cool.
All my buddies were like, dude, this is nothing like the main game. I'm like, I fucking hope not. This is horrible. Because they didn't have the Shadow Barrage to stun it. Yeah, I mean, early game money I feel like is going to suck no matter which region you pick, unless you deliberately go for a sweaty moneymaker. I'm also really bad at early game money. I always have been. Every account I make, I'm like,
it's not the easiest thing. Yeah.
I got my 10K from the Stronghold. Now what? Like I don't know what to do.
I feel that.
I mean, there's a lot to do with those 3 regions that I think I could keep myself entertained.
Yeah, you're going to entertain yourself doing 2,000 monkey laps?
Listen, dog, I tell you what, you want some of my advice from me to you, right? If you want to do monkey laps, start a podcast about old school RuneScape and talk with your buddy aimlessly for hours. You would be surprised how many monkey laps you can knock out.
It was actually bait. I love the monkey laps. You should definitely go Kandrin. I did monkey laps in main game and in Shattered. And maybe in Trailblazer? I don't know.
I think I'm 700 laps away from my princely monkey on the main right now.
He's great. He's great.
Yeah.
Wear him everywhere.
So the goal for me would be to max. And that's the only draw I have to Asgarnia, is because like if you're going to max and you don't have access to the max cape, why would you max?
For the
that would
points.
be the only draw.
What's your major benefit of the cape? Lots of teleports.
Everything.
What else what else is your like big thing?
The cape has everything. Like you can wear it as all of the capes. So if you don't want to wear a range cape, you can just, or like if you don't want to wear the assembler in a certain build, you can just have your max cape, because it's also a range cape that has your Vorkath head.
Is there an accumulator? Is there an accumulator max cape?
Yeah.
There's
okay. I didn't even know there was an accumulator max cape. I'm sorry.
It's gray. It's kind of cool. Nobody wears it. I've thought about buying it, but like 2.2 mil just to have the gray cape. Anyway, yeah, I want to max.
Wait, I'm shocked you don't have it. You should do that. Because you got to keep on flexing every day.
Keep on flexing. The gray one, right? That's the accumulator.
The gray one. I don't know. Wouldn't it have been blue? I'm not maxed. So.
Isn't that the assembler?
Yeah.
The assembler's the blue one.
Wait, so what are you saying? Wait, oh, sorry. I was totally behind in this conversation. There is an... You're telling me there's an accumulator max cape?
Before Dragon Slayer 2, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's gray.
I'm looking it up.
I don't think you can get like the Ava's Attractor Maxscape.
There's
definitely an accumulator Maxscape.
It's great. It's so dang cool, actually. What the heck?
It would be kind of, fresh for the fashion.
This is so cool looking. Why do they have this?
Because maybe you could max and get a Maxscape before Dragon Slayer 2. So they had all the Maxscape
Oh
variants.
my god, could you?
Yes.
Well, you can, of course.
Yes.
You don't need to do that
before
quest
the
to max.
Inferno, Fire Maxscape was best in slot.
Oh my god. No, I'm thinking
Before
like
the
a date
Inferno.
of release. Like, yeah, wow, it makes sense. A Maxscape came out in 2015. Huh. I never even thought of that.
When did Dragon Slayer 2 come out?
2018, I think.
So 3 years.
You don't wear it for the combat efficiency. You
No.
wear it because you look good, you know?
God, I did not know
fashion
this
scape,
thing
baby.
existed. I'm inspired beyond belief. That's so sick.
So maxing, having access to the Maxscape is very it's very nice. Now we're talking about money, so like it would be quite a bit of money to get all the variants if I wanted them. But like if you're gonna max in a league and not get a Maxscape, what's the point in maxing? I don't know. It would deter me from maxing if I didn't have the Maxscape.
But what
What
are
is
the
the point?
benefits of
It's
the
the
Maxscape?
points and the ranks.
What's the
would be
benefit of
the
the Maxscape that you can't get
Cape
anywhere
of
else?
accomplishment.
That is
it's like
what I'm
wearing the
asking.
cape. It's not a benefit. It's the principle of wearing it on your back
Okay.
and actually having 2277.
Okay.
Mhm.
It felt like at first you were saying that it's going to help your gameplay a whole lot, and that's why you
It
couldn't let
No,
it
not
pass it
absolutely
up.
not.
I see. You're making a different argument. Okay.
Yeah.
It's
The
for
argument here is that
flex.
if I have the goal to max, I will be picking Asgardia because I want the Max Cape. Like that's the end all be all. That is the thing that I'm striving for. That's when it's going to keep me on track, rather than just saying, "Oh, I want to get 2277 total," and not have anything to show for it. I have all the 23 Max Capes in my bank, or the 23 skill capes in my bank, but that won't accumulate to one massive, beautiful cape that gives you everything.
But
I'm
also,
very sad when sailing comes out and I don't have my Max Cape anymore. But
that's a
different
good
story.
point. Did you vote no? Did you vote no, Michael? Spill it. Spill it.
I voted yes, 100%.
My man.
It's going to be a long couple of months, guys. When Michael loses that Maxscape, that's how we trap him. The minute sailing comes out, minute it comes out, you start adding him about his infernal cape. That's how we get him to get it on the main, baby.
That's not gonna happen.
It's going to happen.
Wait,
Anyways,
the plot is to get Michael to get the Infernal Cape on the main?
it's a subplot. It's a subplot of
subplot.
Xpwaste to get Michael more into PVM.
Mm.
And once Michael loses his max cape on the main, he'll have motivation to come back to the main. And in doing so, we're going to sort of, through the back door, sneak in and steal him to become a PVMer and abandon the Iron
I don't
Life.
know what you think
Um,
I will be doing once I lose my Max Cape, other than having my head down in a ship,
Sailing.
grinding,
Hanging out with
removing the
mermaids.
ballista, put the ballista back, remove the ballista, put the ballista back for the sailing XP
Yes.
that I will be getting.
Construction 2.
That's a great example. Yeah. I hope
So
that's not
all I will be
a actual future look into what training sailing is like.
So
I hope not. I will be picking Zaya first. I think you guys have convinced me.
I was
Zaya
just
first.
about to say.
We didn't even
is-
say
is-
anything, bro.
Yeah, we really didn't say anything. I was about to ask, though, is Zaya a good first pick because
is.
of everything that is available? Curious to know your thoughts on that.
So, I think that there's an argument to be made where nothing's a bad pick, and so therefore you have to expand it into relevant to everything else. Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
And relevant to everything else, it's probably like low mid in terms of like, but that's based on like how easy it is to go through, get enough tasks done to unlock your second area, based on that metric alone. It does not take into account how much fun you're going to have. And you know what? Zaya's a crap load of fun. We love Zaya. So I don't know. I don't have on the top of my head why I'm saying it's low mid, but just in general, it's huge. It's got a lot of end game content. You're not going to be able to go up and craft some soul runes right away. You're not going to be able to do Chambers of Xeric. You can't do... no, wait, that's not on Zaya. You can't go get a Dragon Warhammer.
I can push a plow.
You can push a plow.
There's gonna be I think Zaya's gonna be good because I didn't play Twisted League, and I gotta live with you. I don't remember most of the tasks from Shattered Relics. I have a sneaking suspicion there's gonna be a lot of low hanging fruit in Zaya. There's gonna be a lot of get 100% favor in all the houses, kill a sand crab, kill X creature within the Catacombs of Korend, get a Slayer task from Konar. There's going to be a lot of
but
more
all of those things are
tasks.
Available in other regions that are smaller. So we're talking about relationally here. Is Zaya worse than others? It's fine no matter what, but is it in the top half of how easy it is to unlock the next region? I don't know.
What do you feel is in the top half? What's the best?
That's a great question.
In your professional opinion, as far as the most likely to get you to your second region unlock the quickest, what do you think is going to be the best region?
Thank you for asking that. I don't really know. But you just kind of like glance at the map and probably just the regions that are generally more compact.
Tyranwen.
I don't think so.
Leo said in our recording booth chat, he said desert ? And I think desert might be a really good first pick.
Tombs of a Masket, dog.
Desert got a little bloated with the late game content
much
since the last time we've had this choice.
Yeah.
And so therefore all the points that they shoved into Pyramid Plunder last time will get taken away and placed into Tombs of a Masket instead. They'll get placed into Desert Treasure 2 bosses, yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. As a player who in general does not really enjoy TOA very much, I'm not very good at it. I don't get the same thrill as I do from other endgame boss content. I don't want to get a Fang Kid in Leagues. I don't want to do a 600 invo.
Why not?
I don't want to do experts 400 times because I don't enjoy the content.
I have a counterpoint.
It doesn't, to me, it doesn't feel, when I did Trailblazer for the
I want
first
you to
time-
fight him. What's the counterpoint?
What's the counterpoint? Fight me.
Is your only viewpoint on Toa right now is just stock standard RuneScape.
Yeah.
Not busted relics that are going to make encounters literally stand there and die so that you can get busted XP, like busted damage. Like, what if you could just kill Akka with a death? Like all four of you die, and then that kills Akka. I don't know. Like your viewpoint.
That ain't happening because he's like phase based. But go ahead.
It's just an example.
I was gonna let him cook, but
there's that of the teasers, and we haven't even touched the teasers. Of the teasers that we have currently, that's the only one that kind of came to mind as far as a busted relic. But thinking about your enjoyment of Tob and learning Tob with all these busted relics, it could make TOA a bit more fun because it's taking TOA out of a box of this is the meta, this is how you have to do it. There's a lot of opportunity for things to be very different, and that could make TOA fun for you.
It could. I'm not going to discount the fact that it certainly could. It could have that effect. I could feel, like, oh my god, I get it. Danny DeVito, I get it. With TOA after Leagues. Given that I only have main game knowledge, though, that's why I'm trying to steer away from it. I think
Oxie, what is it about Baba that you don't like?
I don't know how to red X. So Baba is a tank test whenever I do it. I don't know how to red X, so every time I do it, I'm just getting shmacked. Like, the boss hits like 20s through prayer. And, after a while, you just get embarrassed when you have to, like, use 3 of your 5 brews in the first room,
Okay, I chose Baba as a joke. Do you just hate all of them, though, like with the same passion?
I don't know if I hate any of the bosses. I hate some of the invocations. I really don't like Upset Stomach. I really don't like Boulder Dash. I really don't like Aerial Assault. Funny enough, Insanity, totally fine with. Not great at it, but totally fine with it. I don't know. I just, for some reason, DOA didn't catch me like Tob did. But I think, and I'm finding this with Chambers, I didn't become super entranced because I haven't made any money there. I haven't made any money, and to me, it's like, why am I putting in all this effort? Why am I running solo after solo? Granted, I remember doing like 150s all the way up to like 275s, like nothing crazy. And then why am I going on like 5-man 410s? With Jesse, Immortal, Fear, and M, and I'm the only one with a Bofa. I'm the only one with a Sangstaff. I'm the only one with a regular Fang. Why am I going on these raids and these money 400s, and it's Lightbearer Simulator for like hours at a time? I think for me, I had that same thing with Chambers when I wasn't making any money there, and that felt like shit. And then I started to make money at Chambers, and that felt better. So that could be the case with TOA. A big thing that changed for me with Chambers, though, was I got good enough to stop caring when other people made mistakes, because I can, I stop caring when I make mistakes. I stop caring when other people make mistakes, because I know we're going to survive and we're going to be fine.
In TOA, is that different, where if your teammates make a mistake, you're punished harder?
Well, as a player, for me, it feels that way, right? If the team wipes before come phase, it's a wipe. I do not have the footwork as a player to guarantee that we're going to get out when these orbs are hitting me for 27 through prayer every single time. I'm not confident enough to be able to do that.
Does prayer even work on them?
I think it reduces it a little bit, but I'm not sure.
Magic?
I pray. It's either mage or redemption.
Right.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. I struggle a lot when it comes to, like, I don't want to say that kind of pressure, because I've been there before. I'm used to it, but I don't have the skill set for TOA. I don't have the drive for TOA. And that's really what's turning me away from Desert, because I'm also not entranced by the Desert Treasure 2 bosses like some people are. I don't dislike them. I just haven't done them a lot.
I also don't know how rewarding they would actually be. You don't end up with that much loot. You how many points are there? You'll have to like do the awaken form a bunch of times.
Blorva's going to be points for sure. Or
yeah.
Well, can Blood Torva work? Because you'd have to pick Desert, Asgarnia, Fremenic, and Zaya. So no.
Maybe actually this would be weird if they made it so you just had to get the drop. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that would be kind of funny to get the Ancient Blood icon and then not have Asgarnia, so it's just like sitting in your bank.
Yeah,
for the entire league.
It'll happen to some people.
I'm sure it will. Yeah, I don't know. When you put it in that context of like, the content within the regions are going to determine how many points those regions give and the ease with which you'll get those points.
Mm-hmm.
I love Theater of Blood. It's my favorite piece of content in the game. I will tell you right now, I am not doing 500.
That is so sick. You're sounding exactly like a Tobber when you say that.
I am not doing 500 Tobs. I am not doing 500 hard modes. I
don't really know if anyone did in the last Trailblazer.
So those are points I'm going to have to leave on the table for Tob and for Chambers, because I really like the Mauritania Zaya option. And I don't want to have to like commit to then losing more points, because not only do I not want to do TOA, I don't want to do a lot of hard TOA.
Sure.
So that's where it's really turning me away from the Desert as an option myself. But
I really appreciated the raids talk. I'm growing from you talking about like TOB because I'm floating around like what I want my main objective to be this league, and it might be becoming wonderfully addicted to TOB just like you.
It happened for me. I'll tell you, as a player, going from leagues to main game is a bit of a different experience.
Right.
It does help to see the mechanics in a space where there's zero pressure.
Yeah.
Right? I know Exact has his new Discord where you can go in, or is it AddyCon? I don't know whose it is. The Tob Learner Discord, whoever's it is, you can go in and, learn how to do it with people who have like done it 500 times and are super chill and good teachers. In leagues, nothing matters. So you can go with your buddies and have fun and make it be a good time. And it's still going to feel good to get your first KC, even if you absolute united your way through P3 to get the kill. I still think it's going to feel good because you'll see it.
Yes.
You won't have that kind of pressure. I think for both of you, Tob as a goal for leagues. Michael's not picking Mauritania. He's looking at me like there's no chance of going to Mauritania. I think that could be a lot of fun. I am a lot biased because I loved it so much. Tob was like, I don't think we got into it until like week 5, and it was stressful in a good way and so much fun.
I've been floating around the desire to jump in myself for so long, and I think I might be forced to do Mauritania this time around.
I'm definitely doing Mauritania if it might come as a surprise to you. I think Mauritania has so much more to offer besides Tob, because Tob is very end game. Even in leagues, I'm not going to walk in there with like base 60s, right? But it's got Barrows, which is going to be great for armor, great for alkables. The Slayer Tower, which I know you can get a whip in the Abyss, but like something about it feels crusty, and I would rather get it from the Slayer Tower. You get a Black Mask.
Is it just the fact that there's aggro other monsters?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I like the idea. You can get a whip in Zaya, but because we're all Iron Men, wasn't an issue with the Twisted League. People would just run into the catacombs and just like throw darts at everything and then leave.
Oh,
to troll everyone.
Yeah, you
yes,
troll.
Absolutely.
You delete it from everybody.
That was great.
So, that's another reason why I want Slayer Tower, because it's single combat, baby. I don't have to worry about that.
You can't really base it off the Twisted experience, because that was when everyone was learning what leagues was, and even Jagex was like, oh, people are going to do this? Shoot. And then they had to come up with a solution. I don't remember if they did or what they did. Do you remember them figuring out that they needed to provide lockpicks somehow?
No, I didn't play Twisted League.
Oh, right. Okay, wait, my bad. Quick little legend. Lockpicks were important because of, I think it was stone chests for thieving.
Oh, yeah.
It might not have been that, but it was something. And, like, there was no way to get lockpicks. Sorry, there was one way. And the only way to get it on Korend was to loot young implings. And so everyone had it set up on their like rune light to alert them when a young impling showed up on screen. And there was a mad rush for every young impling to try to get a really rare ass like lockpick from a young impling. Eventually, they added it to scavengers in Chambers of Xeric
during the league.
Is that why it's dropped from scavs?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a crazy piece of trivia right there.
Isn't that fun?
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
I like that.
I was sitting at Sand Crabs just like waiting for an alert for a young impling to come by and Twisted. I did not get it before they updated it to the scavenger drop table.
Wow.
Yeah. That's super fun. Francine said it won't be leagues without a bottleneck. That's true. It's going to happen. We're all Iron Men. I think some of that is okay. I was there looking for lockpicks. I think some of that is okay as long as it's not like, the adjustments they made to the shops constantly resetting. Yeah, that's a good change. I
wanted to rewind because we left Michael in the dust when he asked a question, and then we talked about raids for a long time. So Chat helped lubricate my brain and remember the philosophy behind why this would be the case. What would be a strong region to start in? Well, it's the ones that were originally designed to have low to mid-level content in them, or what I have referred to as the glue regions, Asgarnia and Current. And that's just because, like, when they added the Mauritania expansion, it was because they were adding it for people that were, like, at the late game at the time. It's harder to exist there. And so Asgarnia and Current are just generally filled.
Current or Kandarin?
Thank you. Replace every previous word I meant to say with Kandarin.
I was like, there's no way this man says, Zaya's low mid. But by the way, it's the best for early to mid game content.
That was perfectly contradictory.
My brain heard Kurend and it inserted Kandarin.
Yes.
I was fully on board with you saying Kurend and imagining myself.
It was a test. Who caught it? Who caught it?
I did it. Wow. So you're thinking Kandarin. If I end up going Kandarin and I say maxing doesn't matter, because I think it's really just going to come down to, like, when the league starts, looking at the tasks, because we're all going to be stuck in Mistlan and Karamja for at least a couple of hours. Some people may swap. I'm going to be there for a couple of hours, and I'll have time to look through the different tasks for Kandarin and for Asgarnia and see. And then looking at endgame content for those regions as well. Because, like, do I really care to kill a bunch of Vorkath and go to DKs? No, not really.
No.
That's
and hopefully
that's
they've
Fremenic.
changed the
Sorry,
DK. I forgave that, but still talking about that.
Asgarnia
DK has had
God
one
worse,
of the
though.
worst tasks in all of League's history.
What was it?
I believe it was kill the full trio like 1,500 times or something. But it was like one that no one did. Maybe it was 750, but it was the KC on the full trio.
When the respawn timer doesn't change, that sucks.
I have it on a spreadsheet. I wrote it 1K. I think it's 1K.
Even that's still a lot, though.
It's a lot, dude. That's 3,000 bosses.
With Last Recall God Wars, the instance timer resets every single time.
Yes. And
so
DKs do not have that.
Exactly. So that is crusty.
Yes.
Granted, Fremenic also has more now, because if you do choose Desert, if you're a TOA person and you go with Desert, you get the Duke and you get Muspa as well.
Huh.
So Fremenic has a little bit more to offer.
Yes.
This time around.
It's true. It's true.
And then
that's pretty big, because I'm pretty sure both of those are pretty fun.
I don't mind Duke. I don't mind Muspa.
Yeah.
Like, the late game stuff is also going to be affected by which combat relic I decide to go with.
True.
That's also, like, what gear, what weapons, all of that kind of stuff is going to be a factor.
Yeah, what
of
vibe
what
are
I
you
want
feeling?
Available. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe just overpowered, but I don't want to go Desert. So
wait,
I would just
overpowered
have
is referring to what?
It's just like all of the unlocks that you get from the magic relic.
Got it.
I think they intentionally stacked it so that just because, like, range and melee have been so OP in past leagues, and Magic has just kind of fallen to the wayside, that, picking Magic, they wanted that to have some sort of, like, a little bit added benefit, because there is so much that the list of things you get with the Magic relic is, like, twice as long as, like, the range relic.
Can you plop that in the Discord?
Yeah, I got it right here.
It was the
link.
it was the teaser for yesterday or today.
It was a couple days ago.
A couple days ago.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it was November 4th. I think I sent the link. I don't know if it loaded or not.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, so the Magic relic, it's a good time to be a TOA Andy if you want to do TOA in leagues. You get a passive 20% magic damage bonus, which is plus 60% with his shadow. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Wait.
You pair that with Kandarin, and you get an extra 30 from the occult, and you get an extra, what is it from Tormented? An extra 6, an extra 8, or something like that?
Tell me the exact mechanics of the shadow that make that happen.
So the Shadow triples magic accuracy and magic damage
yes.
outside of TOA. Inside of TOA, it quadruples it.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yep. It's just like how the T-bow is completely uncapped at Chambers, the Shadow is 4 times as effective as compared to 3 times as effective within TOA. That's why you Shadow everything that can be hit by magic in TOA. It's crazy. So if you want to grind a Shadow, and even if you don't get a Shadow, but you get the Warp Scepter and you get the Trident of the
every
Seas,
magic attack is splash damage.
Yeah. Magic is nuts. A
Holy
6-rune
crap.
rune pouch? Are you fucking kidding
And so,
me?
Oxy, you are not thinking of magic in the slightest, even
You
with
know,
all this.
Truly the only reason why I'm like, magic no, is because a TOA, and I say this from the bottom of my heart, TOA stinky. I just don't have an interest. If I'm going for a mega weapon, I don't want to have it be the TOA grind. That might be a bad choice, and I might not have as much fun, but I don't know. The Magic Relic. If you like TOA and you want a Shadow, the Magic Relic is gonna be good.
Tell me about how hard it is going to be to supply the runes needed for the Shadow. Is that any concern?
Isn't there a rune save metric? Like charges are saved?
You save 90%
maybe-
of your runes, and this includes charges when using powered staves.
Yeah,
There
so
you
you
go.
throw like 1,000 charges in there.
There you go.
That's not that hard to get Chaos and Soul runes.
Soul
Because
runes
we'll
are gonna
have
be a little bit
Soul
harder, I
Wars.
think.
We'll have Soul Wars available without having to choose anything. So
Will
then
you?
it's in Misthalin.
Yep. Isle of Souls, access through Edgeville. And if you don't know that should probably be part of your like day one plans.
Yeah, Soul Wars is pretty nutty, and the pet would be sick.
Is Soul Wars going to be one of those things like in past leagues where like if you didn't get your Void in the first 24 hours, you're just not getting Void? Is that how that's going to go? Because I
do
kind of
not
hate
know.
that mechanic. I kind of hate it.
The way to protect yourself from that is to have a podcast with a following, and you can just bring your
Oh.
people in. You're safe.
You can make a
That
Soul
is-
Wars event from the Discord Discord,
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Could do that.
or a Void. Sorry, a Void grind event. Soul Wars is nice because you only need 2 accounts. You don't technically have to do it in a mass. The Pest Control you do. They will not start the game unless you have enough people.
You need 5.
Is it a minimum of 5? Oh wow.
Yeah. But
So you get your BA group together.
it still
and
sucks
go-
because you have to wait the full timer, I think, in that
Ugh.
scenario.
Yeah, because you can't.
Because
take
you
that
can
much
force
shields.
start in pest control, and that's the greatest reason for the mass worlds.
Yeah.
I'm still not convinced Asgarnia or Kandrin, and I will be making that decision, I think, on day 1.
What content do you enjoy doing? Let's break down what is a very big overview. In Asgarnia, you've got God Wars Dungeon, you got Cerberus, everything within the Taverley Dungeon, just in case you want to get Dragon
Are we
Bones,
approaching
for
this more from
example.
the angle of your early journey or what you're going to be accessing at the end?
I don't know if there will be an end for me. So
Oh my goodness, Michael.
No. I gave this man shit weeks ago. I said, here's how it's going to go. And I gave a full shot for shot, line by line breakdown
You did.
about what Michael's going to do when he quits the league. And he said, Oxy, not only are you wrong, but you're also stupid. That's not going to happen. There's going to be an end for you, Mr. Mithril.
man.
And it is not going to be in the first 3 days of this league.
Michael, I have not dipped in the slightest of trying to convince you to play. So maybe I
That's
can
very
try to
true.
convince you to play. I think that there are a few moments in our short lives here on Earth that can be meaningful and impactful. And I think Leagues is one of them. In fact, being a esteemed player of all of them, 100% of them, I can say that I don't regret it, and I know that Leagues are an opportunity to make treasured memories forever. Why? Why is that? Okay? It's because the Jagex team went in and handcrafted a very unique journey that is only available for a small time limit. Now, is that just a marketing tactic? Is that just making you feel FOMO? No, it's more than that. Well, maybe that is it, but there's more than that. It makes everyone feel FOMO at the same time. And that, my friend, makes it a group bonding experience. The whole world knows what I'm talking about when I'm talking about Trailblazer, because they were there, they've got the same memories, and it's different than talking about RuneScape, because sometimes when I'm in the real world and I find out, wait a minute, this stranger that I'm talking to has played RuneScape before. Wait a minute, though. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. They might have been a grade school player. They might have played, heaven forbid, they might have played RS3. I don't know what their experience is. But Leagues is the thing that binds us. It is beautiful. And it is because of the inherent value of how dang fun the relics are. And please join us in this journey of going through, discovering the meta together, and just being giddy every dang day about it. The end.
I think you've convinced me.
I couldn't have said it better myself. You see a man walk up to you in full bandos with an obsidian helmet. Some people are go, that's a poor choice of outfit. Others will go, I remember that. Good times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not convinced I even got a mithril cup. Now that I think about it. Because I went on my main account and I posted a screenshot of this in the recording booth chat.
You know, I saw that screenshot.
I only have the steel cup on the main. Now this would require logging into a dead account that it's not seen the light of day for 2 years.
Ironhound. You would have played the league on
I played
Wait a minute.
I think I played both leagues on Ironhound.
That is a sick username, can I say?
Oh man.
It's Ironhound with 2 O's. Hound.
No. Ironhound.
Well, my main is Bloodhound.
Oh, is it? Shoot, I didn't even realize that.
Hound.
Okay,
I don't have 4 bill.
right. Do you know that that's what the username is? That's how much it costs, or what?
Yeah, I've been in talks with every single owner of the name for the last 2 years, and it just keeps going up.
Is that not a shady practice?
It's not.
No.
It can be. I mean, some people do nefarious things to get the money, but it's technically not.
So it's not shady, but caveat, it's shady.
It's kind of shady. You can get scammed for bills. People who have tens of bills probably don't have it legitimately most of the time. There's a lot of people who RWT, or a lot of people who scam people. So it's very likely that the people you're dealing with are on the darker side of RuneScape if you're going to be buying a name. But if you're in the market for Bloodhound, it's gonna run you 3 to 4 bill, and I don't have that, so I have to suffer with too many O's.
Maybe pull some shadows, convince Oxie to do TOA with you. I'm
trying to flip my way to 3 bill.
Your whole journey is just to change your username. That's hilarious.
To drop one single O, it cost me 4 billion GP to drop 1 O from my username.
That's
on an account that I'm not really even playing.
The guy who has Oxie won't sell it. He's like, yeah, it's been my name since I was a child. I'm not getting rid of this. I'm like, it's on my driver's license, please.
And it's 4 letters long.
Yeah, it's 4 letters long. And
That's
we'll get
legit.
rid of it.
What's your username?
Oxie M.
Oxie M.
Yeah.
Oxime.
Yes, Oxime.
So I think if we're looking at the content that I like, it's not in It's not in Asgarnia. It's not in Asgarnia, and I would literally only be picking Asgarnia to have the max
for the
game.
max game.
Yeah. So day 1, I think it's going to be Kandarin. I think the second region will be Kandarin. First region pick will be Kandarin. Second one maybe the Wilderness. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. Void Waker. Have you guys used a Void Waker?
I've actually never touched it.
My goodness, dude. That is 170 mil I will never get back. It is a cracked weapon.
Interesting.
I went and tried to kill. I didn't try. I actually did. I killed Sarachnis. Voidwaker spec'd it for like a 70. It was insane. And I'm just trying to think what relics are going to make the Voidwaker absolutely cracked? All of them, probably.
All of them, yeah.
There's like ones that allow you to save spec. There's ones that, you know, up your damage. So like having a Voidwaker for a lot of content will be very, very fun. So that's part of the reason why I'm going to pick the Wilderness. Probably second. I don't really want to save it for last. Maybe I'll save it for last. Who knows? I've been talking about my regions this entire time, and I've not heard you guys. We're like almost 2 hours in.
We haven't.
Hey,
been,
Brian,
we haven't been
what is
peeping about
your
it. Yeah.
what's your first day? What's your first region on? Like you bang out all the points day one, you get your first region. Where are you going?
Yeah, I love that question. I don't know.
Man, if I had $1 for every time I asked this man a question, he said I have no idea. What's your
I'm a
game
terrible
plan?
guest. Listen, I didn't scout me for this podcast. That's on you. But if I was sitting with the menu open right now and I had to, it might be Zaya, despite what I said earlier.
Wow.
Well, so what's my goal? It's not to be the number one player. It's not to speedrun unlocking everything. I freaking love Zaya, and I would love to do Chambers of Xeric. So Zaya's going to happen at some point.
I'm going to do a lot of Chambers of Xeric. With the changes, bless.
Oh,
Ooh,
changes that will
yeah.
in the next couple of weeks going to be
Changes.
so nice. But I think my first region may also be Zaya, which kind of sucks because that means Asgarnia is likely going to be last again. Because I don't know. I don't know whether to choose Mauritania or Asgarnia second. I think Zaya's got so much to do at all levels that it makes the most sense to do first. But as far as my other two region unlocks, I think I'm going to go with Asgarnia and Mauritania. And I'm a melee guy. I think
makes
I
sense.
might go with the melee relic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I feel like those. I don't know which to do first. Do I go for the armor and the BGS, or do I go for, Theater of Blood? Basically, that's the next best upgrade at that point, because Abyssal Whip can be in Misthalin, Infernal Cape is free, Dragon Boots and Dragon Defender.
And you were the one that said that you did not like getting the whip in Misthalin, right?
I am, yes. I am not a fan. I can do it, especially if I don't do it till later. I am notoriously slow when it comes to doing stuff like that. Like in the last few leagues, I feel like it took me like a week or two to even get my first Fire Cape. Which is super demoralizing, by the way. If you've not played a league, or you're kind of like I was when I went into Trailblazer, like just breaking into like the mid game where you're starting to explore, like, holy shit, this game has a lot to offer after all this time. Do not watch people like Wooks on day one.
I know.
Because people like Wooks and Sea Engineer and Solo Mission, they're going to have like 8,000 points
It's
in
different.
the first couple of hours. And you're going to be like, this guy just got a Fire Cape with a bronze crossbow. What am I doing wrong? Nothing. You're not doing anything wrong. You're watching people who play this game as a career play it.
Isn't that not even true about Wooks though? Doesn't he like just come back in, crush everything, and then go back to his job?
He does, yeah. He plays Leagues for like 2 weeks and then disappears for 6 months.
He's amazing.
Yeah, but even so, just don't feel discouraged. I fell into that trap of like, wow, I'm really far behind on day one, huh? I'm like just mining Pure Essence with this cool relic that helps me bank all my supplies.
Yeah.
Enjoy that part of the journey because, God, what was that relic called? Endless Harvest or something? Bountiful? I don't remember what it was called, where you banked all
Endless
your gathering.
Harvest is definitely the name of one of them, and I think it is the one that you're going for.
Maybe. I don't know what it was, but it put all your gathering, all your fish, all your ore, all your logs, everything went straight to your bank, and it was the coolest thing. Man, you would AFK somewhere for like an hour. You'd come back to your bank with like 500 karambwans. Oh, it was so nice.
It was
so
amazing.
nice.
Yes, you're so right.
Here is a question that I'm curious about, because they kind of did it in Shattered Relics, but they didn't take it far enough with the renown and the unlocks and things like that. Do you think that they're just gonna like pull the trigger and give us elite diaries like for free upon region unlocks, or is that taking away stuff to do from the player? Because
Sorry,
I remember
why would they do that?
Well, I remember in Shattered Relics, like, you know, for example, some quests you could buy, but some you could not. And I thought that was ridiculous. Why do I have to do rat catchers in a league, right?
Because it's a great quest.
You couldn't buy any diary steps, for example, right? I feel like it could have gone farther, especially because, like, even before the renowned stimmy, there was like 1,400 extra points or something if you got every single task completed.
Yeah.
So why not take it a little bit further, right? I'm curious your thoughts on what it would be like if they just gave us that stuff off the rip. Because we know historically for some regions, like Fremennik is going to give you DS2. You're going to get Desert Treasure 2 from the desert. You'll probably get AKD from Karend, though I feel like AKD is pretty self-contained in Zaya, so you might not.
Yeah, so just approaching that from a couple of angles, like, would I want them to do that? I don't think so, because I think diaries is one of the most satisfying checklists to mark off the game. It gives you awesome direction to just be able to go into that list and be like, oh, I need 94 rune crafting for this next step. And it gives you the goal. I think elites are, I think diaries in general are an unbelievably fantastic update to the game. Despite that, yeah, that's main game talking. This is leagues where we could just like do everything fast. The thing about the elite diary in particular is that they also serve to give the satisfying elite task. So like 100 points, I think, when you complete one of those. And the lamp. Like, I don't want those things to be taken away.
Ooh, that is true.
You get a juicy times 20 XP lamp when you do the elite diary.
Yeah, that is true.
And it's like you meet the progress. It's not really generally hard to do any of the diaries. It's the requirements to get there first. And if you give them to the player for free, you'll still do the grind, but then not be met with the reward of completing the diary later. I think it's bad design to give them away for free.
That's fair. That's fair enough. It was definitely a complaint and definitely a concern I had.
Just because you were sitting on a pile of renown.
Exactly. I had nothing to do with all these points. Like, what's the point of even having them? But I feel like for Trailblazer, it does make more sense that you'll get a different kind of satisfaction and a different value with the points that are going for, you know, your league totals and things like that.
Yeah. Plus, thankfully, I mean, we're not going to have renown, right?
Yeah, God bless.
Thank God.
The concept was cool. I'm not gonna lie. They had something they were cooking with there for sure. They took it too far, and then in taking it too far, they didn't take it far enough.
Yes.
Because they gave you everything, but there was still a bunch of shit you had to go do by
yourself.
So wild.
So like, all you said was true there. Oh my God.
You know.
Can you imagine if we had gone through Shattered Relics without being able to unlock all of the skills?
I think it would have made for a very fun and very dynamic league. Although
How
I feel like
right?
there's definitely they would have had to make some of the quote unquote bad choices like really worth taking. Like I can tell you right now, fire making, hunter, nope, no reason. No reason for either one of those skills. Slayer and Herblore, absolutely, but I can't think of why rune crafting is necessary, right? Unless shops are deleted until you unlock rune crafting or something.
Oh my God!
Like,
no
like
way.
that. Like it's got to be. It would have had to be some sort of wacky trade-off.
Either make it impossible to get all the skills, or just make that journey to unlock everything like super long. Now that's me as a crackhead talking about, oh, I wish it was harder, when really they do have analytics of like the players that they had quitting. What are they supposed to do? They had their hands tied. They're like, everyone's quitting.
Yeah.
The average player's not playing this. We have to open it up. So it sucks for them, but it also sucks for us.
Yeah, I will say I think I had everything but herb lore, like I said, and I felt I was ready for like a very big surge of accomplishment. Like, that's right. I did all those tasks and I unlocked all the skills myself. I'm awesome. And then that day, they're like, you're getting it all back for free. I'm like, well, it's meaningless. I guess I don't have to unlock anything else. Like,
it was extra sad because like I'm generally speaking a saver, so I was sitting on like a few points already. Like okay, where do I really want to spend these? And then they're like, here's 2,000. Like here's 2,000 back. I was like, oh shoot, I just have to start spending.
When you can buy everything, it really does lose its charm.
Yeah,
a little or a lot bit.
I ran into the situation of like, I was like looking forward to redoing some of the quests that I had forgotten. And I was like, oh, I can even save some renown doing that. Well, it was really dumb to do any quests in Shattered Relic. It was just a waste of time. You needed to just spend your renown on skipping them.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I bring it up is because, you know, I could skip Song of the Elves, but I had to do Rat Catchers. What the hell? You know, it's just quests like that. Like, why, if you're going to make some of them buyable, just make all of them buyable if you're going to do that kind of change, you know? But hopefully that won't be an issue. I don't know
if I'm a douchebag for bringing this up, but I legitimately do not want Rat Catchers to be changed, and I kind of enjoy it.
I gotta level with you. The most minimal memory of the quest. I did it on both my accounts.
Okay. I can try to tell you why. Let me take you back to the 90s. You're playing N64. You're playing a very famous franchise that's just released. It's a flagship, groundbreaking 3D entry. That's right. It is Ocarina of Time. And you broke into Hyrule Castle and you're dodging guards. That is Rat Catchers.
I think that's what Rat Catchers wants to be. I think the RuneScape pathing system proves to be a little bit too frustrating to actually achieve that. You know, your character is where your character isn't. You know, the player knows where it is because it knows where it isn't. Sucks when you're trying to sneak around a mansion.
I'm down with that critique. But then the next step you take is like, okay, there's a challenge in front of me, and I'm going to accept it. Game on.
You know, I don't think that's bad logic necessarily. I'm indifferent about the quest in the main game, irrationally frustrated about it from Leagues.
In Leagues.
I don't know why I was like pissed.
I don't even think it punishes you that far. You hit a couple of checkpoints and then like it spits you out like 3 guards back.
I don't even remember. Like, I've never had a bad experience with the maze beyond your basic RuneScape pathing frustration. I think the most frustrating part for me was always catching the rats, because I don't know why. The rats were always just
really
difficult. Yeah, I don't know why. The rats were always the worst part of the rat catcher quest. But
yeah, I don't know either.
Well, now it's multi-regional, so we don't have to do it no matter what, baby, because you go to the desert, and you go to Fremenic, and you go to Asgarnia for it. So unless you're specifically unlocking rat catcher only regions, you are home free.
Even then, I don't think. Oh, I get you.
You can't even start it till you're in. You can't even start it till you're in Kandra and Ardoyan.
Yeah.
Oh baby, rat catchers isn't completable. You guys are safe. It's okay. You don't have to do it.
It's not even a point to debate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the show has been composed mostly of complaining about past leagues, which I think the discussion around leagues tends to swirl around that. I just want to point that out.
Let's get the people excited then. We've had somebody called it the league's advent calendar, where every day they're releasing a new teaser.
Yes.
And they haven't missed. So I'm not going to put this on screen for two reasons. Number one, I forgot I'm not editing this week, and that's a lot of pictures for Michael to put on the screen. So we're not going to do that, but we will link the tweet to the most recent one, which will be Tuesdays, I think, given this episode's cadence. We'll link the most recent one in the description. Go check it out. Go check out the one that came out the day this episode came out or whenever. They have not missed with these teasers. They are super, super fun. Let's get into them. We've got, I think, 7 as of right now. How are you guys feeling? Are any of them standouts? Michael, I know you mentioned, what is it, like Divine Retributions, Guthic's middle finger to the entirety of Undying Retribution. That's what it is, where you nuke opponents.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in the mechanics of that right off the bat, but I don't think we should start there. I think we should start at day 1.
Sure, that's
and
smart.
Just get her going.
Day 1, let's get her going. What do
They
we got?
decided, like the JGX old school RuneScape RS Twitter account decided to post an advent calendar, and then they had the first day go by. And what did they reveal? The Trickster. And the Trickster's kind of dang cool, other than that it's like you can tell that this would be like the version of the relic that no one wanted in the past, and it's been souped up.
Mm-hmm. This relic is probably going to fall in, what, the very beginning, I would bet?
That makes sense to me.
This is probably going to go, because if you look at what's here, you have Thieving, Firemaking, Agility, and Hunter, which are all support skills. The only support skill you're missing is Slayer, which will probably get its fair share of passive buffs along the way. So...
Wait, can you explain... Wait, what did you mean by, like, the only thing we're missing is Slayer? Is that what you said?
Yeah, so as far as support skills, Hunter, Firemaking, Thieving, and Agility, and Slayer are the 5 support skills in the game. I think Firemaking is technically considered a production skill sometimes, but for this case, it's a support skill. So Slayer is not mentioned among those skills, and I doubt it will be for the skilling-related relic. So this leads me to think that we're going to get another relic for production, which in the first Trailblazer was the 1-tick inventory completion, and Endless Harvest, which was, or some variant of Gathering Relic, right? In Trailblazer, it was Endless Harvest, where everything went right to your bank. I think this is cool. I think it does justice to the skills that really haven't been... beefed up as much, you know.
There's so many things in this list that are just cool on their own, and you get everything. Despite that, I have a feeling that I won't be picking it. I think that there's something better out there.
It depends on what it's stacked up against, right? I've heard that, you know, I think somebody mentioned that there are going to be so many rooftop agility tasks that the whole, like, getting your agility XP from essentially Silverhawk boots.
Yeah, so there's Sage's Greaves.
You
You wear them, just to contextualize for the audience. You put these things on, and while you're running, you gain passive agility experience. That's like a RuneScape player's wet dream, because people tend to hate the agility skill. But they don't hate agility so much when you're in a league that is extremely rewarding to do those rooftops.
Yeah, when you're getting, like, when you go from 50 to 60 in like 13 laps, like that's a game changer right there.
Yeah.
Like, it is good, you know? And that feels good.
Yeah, it does. This was going to be my answer to the no run. Like, if they ended up doing, like, making the wacky decision to not give everybody endless run, this was going to be my, but listen to this. You will have you'll have agility. Agility is the saving grace when it comes to, like, run energy. 99 agility, you almost never really truly worry about run energy like you do in the early and mid game.
It's very different. In actual run intensive activities, it still sucks.
It still sucks, but it sucks a lot less. So having these boots,
sorry, Chat has a leak on Sage Greaves calculations. You run 2 steps, and then it gives you an XP check. The XP check is the amount of experience that you get is your agility level times 2, divided by 3. So let's just do an example. Let's say you're level 10 agility. So 20 divided by 3. It's like 7. Let's call it. Well, let's call it 7.
6 or 7.
Times 10. 70. Times your current league XP multiplier. Wait,
So,
what? That's an
damn.
unbelievable amount of experience.
So every time
That's
you
every
run
tick.
2 steps,
That's every
you
tick.
would get, what is it, 70 times if you have like a 5 times.
That's
That's,
350.
1,200.
Like I said, we're really
150.
bad at math on this show. Either way, it's a lot of XP for
That's
not doing a
200
whole
mil
lot of anything.
immediately.
Yeah, I think that's for the long grinders who want to get 200 mil, because that, I imagine if you're burning 9 logs at once, you're getting boosted experience for every single log.
Sorry,
too.
it's not every tick. XP check is time based, so whenever they can just set the tick to whatever they want rather than running 2 steps.
Mm-hmm.
Still cracked. Still cracked. No matter what it is, having a passive way to get XP, you're not even going to have to think about it. Like, you could maybe wear those for like the first 3 or 4 days.
Problem with your logic here. So in Shattered Relics, I was doing a bunch of agility. I got the monkey laps done. I got some sepulcher. But the thing is that if you were to do all of the agility tasks that you're supposed to, or sorry, to get points, you end up reaching 25 mil experience. This time around, they let us get to 50 mil to continue to earn points. So that's okay. So maybe it does come back into the argument of like, okay, Sage's Grace is one of the best and only ways to like get your character to 50 mil agility experience for an extra, maybe 250 points.
Stacked with everything else this gives you, I would be hard pressed to pick something else. I don't know what the choices are. Obviously, we don't know. At this time of recording, we don't know what the other options are. But stacked against anything else, it's going to be hard. I'm going to be hard pressed to pick anything else. A lot of this stuff won't matter later on.
True.
You're going to burn 9 logs. Like the novelty of burning 9 logs is going to wear off very quickly.
In a world where they just released bonfires, did they not?
Yeah. Impling jar's not breaking. That's not huge. Double loot from traps could be cool because I'm sure there's going to be a wilderness task for some sort of implings.
So I'm a huge fan of idle games and AF Kane. And do you guys reading the same like pickpocketing stuff that is we got here? We've got automatic re-pickpocketing, and then.
But what does that mean?
It means
that means you click on the
vague.
Ardenite once, and then it's click,
and then you just
What
wait.
is it?
click.
Are you sure?
Yes,
Mhm.
and also I'm not seeing it on this list right now. Am I crazy? There it is. It's automatic pickpocket, and you never fail.
You don't fail. Your coin pouch is tripled, and you get double loot. Plus, it's noted, so you don't have to pick.
It's insane.
You don't have to wear a rogues. Yeah,
It is.
so there's the money problem, guys. That's the money problem.
You can just
literally
sit
just
and leave your
pickpocket anything.
RuneScape on, your RuneScape client on with a guard for like an hour, and you've got the money.
as a
Don't-
Mauritania Andy, that is insane.
That's
for blood
really
shards.
really
Yeah.
insane. Oh my god, that's
Insane.
insane.
Because you can, if you go as Garnia, you can still get the rogue's outfit, so you get 4 blood shards per pull with this.
Even if you
That's
didn't get 4,
insane.
the fact that you can just AFK at all makes getting the
Yeah,
double
it's guaranteed.
great already.
It's guaranteed.
Yeah. And it's
Um,
noted. You don't have to stop and drop the items.
Yeah, it is awesome. That said, I'm a big fan of the gathering skills. Let me back up. I'm a big fan of 2 gathering skills, and then the mining sucks. I had so much fun with Endless Harvest. Like, something about, I remember I was at home and I was watching Midsummer with my sister because
Love
it
that
was
movie.
newer at the time.
My god.
I had only watched the last like 40 minutes where she sees him having sex and starts wailing, and then they put him in the bear suit. Like,
oh, that's screaming, yes.
that's the only part that I saw, and I was crying laughing. I was like,
Come
dude,
on, you're a
horror
horrible
movie
person.
this is hysterically funny. It's just so stupid because I don't have context. I went home and I was fishing monkfish, the entirety of the movie. That shit was so scary with my little sister. She does not care. She's born on Halloween. She can stomach any scary movie in the world.
Does that give you a natural buff to horror things?
It does for her. I don't know why. She used to watch like Insidious at 11 years old with her friends. Like it was their thing. They loved it. But I remember AFKing and it being my only source of happiness because I really don't like blood and gore very much. So whenever it got really bad, I would just hold my phone over the TV like this and just watch myself fish during the first Trailblazer.
Only
League.
source of happiness. This is still the therapist talking, right?
Still, well, in that moment, right?
Oh,
Listen, I don't want to get too graphic about it. I don't want to spoil anything. When you see what happens to that old woman on the cliffside, you don't recover from that. So for me, I went nope and put it up in front of my face. I'm a bitch when it comes to horror films. I still liked it, but the second time I watched it, I was not laughing with the wailing. I was like,
it affected you differently.
I did not have as fun of a time the second time I saw Midsommar. But I was
Michael,
AFKing the whole time.
Midsommar?
I have not.
Oof.
I'm not a horror movie person.
Big thumbs up. Big thumbs up. Sounds like neither of you
movie, The scariest movie I remember seeing was Signs.
I have actually not seen that one. I've only seen Scary Movie 3.
I had nightmares from The Mummy.
What?
I got nightmares from The Day After Tomorrow. Like I was just I'm not a horror person.
This is wild, guys. It takes just like a little getting used to, and then you do get a little like addicted to the genre. I've done that journey, and there's a lot of fun things in there.
I'm just not into the weird. A classic horror movie trope is like a child turning their head and looking at you.
Yeah.
Just like standing there down a dark hallway. I am not. That is not my genre. No.
Okay, well then this is for the audience then, because someone out there is relating to me. The director of Midsommar is Ari Aster. His other work, Hereditary, is one of my absolute top movies. Hereditary better than Midsommar, but still.
He said Hereditary, and someone in our recording booth chat immediately left. That is how much of a nope that shit is for some people.
It's beautiful. I'll leave it there though.
Yeah, but anyways, all that to say, I spent the time while I was being traumatized with that movie, AFKing the monkfish, and everything going to my bank just felt good. I actually, I don't want to, show you up or anything like that, because you might have a little YouTube channel of your own. I happen to release my own Leagues videos back in the day. I don't mean to brag, but they got at least
Did you
10
buy a
views.
license from me?
From you? No.
Sorry, continue.
I don't think I did. No, but I remember that first day I was mining Pure Essence, which really goes to show how far my ability to make like video production has come, because the last like 7 minutes of my first video is me monologuing while mining at the Pure Essence mine, because in that moment I was having so much fun knowing all the Pure Essence was going right to my bank.
Nice.
Knowing what I could do in the future.
Yeah.
So for me, the Gathering Relics, I'm like in my heart I'm picking Gathering, but Trickster might kind of put it off the rails a bit, because that Trickster's going to be good.
The thing about it is that, you were talking about how much you love Gathering, and that's in contention with Trickster, which seems to be like the production assistant. You have to decide what is your favorite, but I don't think that's because you're necessarily going to choose the relic that amplifies your favorite. You might want to amplify the thing that's not your favorite.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Because what are you going to spend the more time doing?
That is a good point. That's what I'm, on the one hand, what are you going to spend the more time doing?
Yeah.
It might end up being Gathering, because I'm always going to need food, right? You're always going to need...
Gathering tends to be more relaxed, AFK.
That is true, and I do work a job. I got a new job. And by the way, Michael, I put my 2 weeks in today. I showed up to work. My boss gave me the rundown of all the new kids who would be coming in. I said, neat. Can I talk to you for a second? Close the door. Let my boss know without blinking. My boss said, Yeah, just give it to me in writing so I can send it to HR to open up a position. It's the lack of apathy or the lack of empathy is kind of boggling, but also I called an audible and I'm actually being done November 17th. So the Friday after leagues, Friday after league starts, I'm done. I was going to try to make it. I was going to try to make it until the 22nd, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, but I woke up today and some part of my soul said, get out. Get out today.
Right.
And I'm like,
big transformation.
I'm like, I can't do that. I have a professional, a moral, and an ethical obligation to the children that are on my caseload to maintain it for a couple of weeks, to teach them what a healthy goodbye is and close therapy for real.
Respect.
Most of the kids who were on my caseload are no longer in the program because I either finished or got discharged. So I got one child left on my caseload. All the other ones are new, and I can't start any new cases. But that was my mindset when I woke up, was I'm getting out of here as early as possible, but not as early as I want, which is I call her and say I'm not coming back today.
Is there a chance that you're just going to be done before the 17th?
It really depends. I don't actually know. There are a few obligations I will have to clean up. I am going to finish out my parent group, which again only has one set of parents in it right now, which is a little awkward because I don't have children of my own. Imagine having like 5 children and then someone half your age is like, you should do a better job of being a parent.
That is interesting.
It's a little jarring at first.
Do you feel like you don't have the authority to tell them anything?
I don't at first, and then we get into the meat and potatoes of counseling, and then how the turntables. Because I don't have children, but I have years of experience studying the DSM-5.
Totally.
And know how to like suggest things for behavior. So I don't have kids, and I don't want to sound like I know it all, because holy shit, I don't have kids, but like I know how to suggest to people.
That's cool.
Ways they could become better. So when we get into like why they're there, totally comfortable. That initial like, hi, my name is Matt. I'm the therapist here. I don't have any kids.
I play
RuneScape. I hate that.
Do you guys play RuneScape?
Dude, one of the new kids asked me today. I sit down at the table with my coffee. One of the new kids asked me today. He's like, yo, what's that tattoo on your arm? I went,
Ooh.
Every time they ask. And I'm like, and one of the other kids who had known me for a little while goes, it's from a game, but he won't tell us about it because he wants to make that part of his life a secret. I said, yeah, I do. I need the veil of mystery to stay interesting.
That's actually kind of cool.
Oh
Listen,
God.
if I tell the kids, hey, it's from a game called Old School RuneScape, and one of them goes, oh my God, I heard of that game. My brother plays that game. And they look up, they're teenagers. They're idiots, but they're really smart. If they search my legal name of what they know me and RuneScape, I'm gonna pop up, and that's gonna suck because there's no way to put that back in. There's no way to recontain that beast.
That would suck to be released into your like professional world, and then with the kids. I've personally struggled with like wanting to hide it from my real life connections, and that's been a journey for me. But that would be very different for you to have that released upon a bunch of teenagers.
You know, I found for like personal connections, I think it actually bolsters things a little bit. It's weird at first, right? What do? I make YouTube videos and I talk about RuneScape.
Yeah.
Like it sounds super dorky. But break it down a little bit more, right? I'm not trying to flex here. I'll flex for Michael, not for myself. Like, yeah, I have a podcast where I talk to one of my buddies who I met during quarantine about old school RuneScape. We're decently okay. We're on the cusp of 700,000 plays across all platforms. Our YouTube channel is about to hit 2K subscribers. We got 2,000 people in the Discord. We just put on a bingo event that had 350 active participants, and it was the biggest event we've ever held.
Bill pot.
Yeah, the pot was 1.2 bill, which probably means nothing to you if you don't play the game, but like it's a great way to get
you'll need a different metric.
Engagement, you know? So like the more you kind of like push it for your other like, you know, adult relationships are like, okay, wow, so you're not just like in your basement talking about games with your buddies. Like this is a full scale production. Like, yes, it is. Like I got a studio quality setup here for talking about RuneScape for 2 hours a week, you know? With the kids, though, I've always said, like, if an XP Waster walked into my office and goes, "Oh my God, it's Oxie from XP Waste," I go, "Oh my God, you know why this can't work professionally, right?" And they would go, "Sure thing." I said, "I'll refer to you to a different therapist in this building, but it can't be me. No problem." If a client finds out about the show, you don't recover from that. Because they walk in an XP Waste hoodie because they thought it would be funny. Terminated right there.
Jover.
It's over. It's over. It's ogre. It's Grover. There's no coming back from that. So I try to keep it very, very mysterious. So all that to say, I think I'm feeling a bit of a fever coming on, and I don't think it's going to hit till Wednesday the 15th. So you never know what might happen.
I respect it for sure.
Just for the record, when you Google Oxy, OSRS, the first one is XP Waste.
Yeah.
But if you Google Oxy, old school RuneScape, nothing. There's no trace of you. So, like, it's weird. Like, just how search engine work.
That means you guys need to tag your channel better, I guess.
Or
you're only getting RS3 players. Oh, yeah, tag it worse.
Because we don't want this guy out in the world.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with being out in the world.
Change
obviously.
your username, I guess.
It's a little late for that. I feel like I had plenty of opportunities to change it, and then I just didn't. I talked to one of my first supervisors I had. I told him about, what I do, and I told him about streaming and the podcast and all that, and I was like, "Hey, is my username going to be a problem?" And he's like, "Do you think it's a problem?" I'm like,
just reversed it on you.
I'm like, "Well, no." And he's like, "Think about people like Carl Rogers, one of the most, famous counselors of all time. He still saw clients. You don't think people went to him knowing how famous he was?" And I'm like, "That's true." And he's like, "Sorted. You don't got to change your name." I'm like, I don't think I'm Carl Rogers as far as being famous and being that good at therapy. I don't think so. But he did bring up a good point that, like, if people know me, I either send them somewhere else or we just sort of get over it together. So that is...
Or that helps you with the connection. I'm not a therapist, so I don't know. But if you can relate to somebody, like if I had a therapist who played RuneScape, whether or not they had a podcast talking about it, I feel like I could relate to them because that is a massive part of my life.
I would be I would be terrible. Think about it. Think about the horror. And Michael, you know me better than most, right?
You don't
think
talk
about
to people,
the daily anxiety every time this client walked in. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. They tell me about this game called Old School RuneScape. I say, cool. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. The next week, I don't think about it. I have a short sleeve shirt. They see my DDS. They go, "Oh, is that a Dragon Dagger? Do you play Old School RuneScape?" And I go, "Well, yeah, kind of." And then the whole thing is like, when are they going to find the show? 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 What if they find the show by accident? What if they're like, "You inspired me. I love the way you talk. You inspired me to go listen to a RuneScape podcast, and I got this. There's this guy who sounds so much like you. It's insane." The anxiety would literally kill me.
So I didn't even realize that this story was real, where you had a guy that like found your tattoo of a DDS. How long ago?
No. Thankfully, thankfully, but also not thankfully. Thankfully, I've had no clients who recognize it. I've also not had anyone in real life go, "Oh my God, that's a DDS," and we get to have like a bro moment, unfortunately. But
dude, you'd think the DDS is so iconic.
You would think. Well, the kid did scare me this morning. He goes, "Wait a minute, I know what that's from." Oh, no, kill myself. He said,
"You can't say that. You're a therapist."
He said, "It's from Tears of the Fallen Kingdom, the new Zelda game." I went, "Whew."
You're right. Nope. You got it.
These are games RuneScape is a game that was released before these children were born. So I think you're in the clear.
You never know, dog. You never know. But anyways, back to the topic at hand. I think, how are you feeling, Michael? You said this is going to be your go-to for the Skilling Relic, or?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I have to see what else is there. But this seems like a clear winner in terms of choice, just because
Sure.
the agility, the passive thieving, needing money early game. If this is like a tier 2 or a tier 3, that's pretty cracked. This may be a later unlock.
Yeah,
but imagine you get this as like a tier 2 or a tier 3. Like that's within the first
That's what I'm imagining
couple
that
of
it
days.
is. 2 or 3.
If you can't fail actions.
Wait a minute. We know what the 3 is, isn't it? Isn't that the combat one?
I think so.
Yeah. 1 or
Because
2?
I think it was hard. I think it was skilling was the first one, travel was the second, combat was the third, and the first one.
So this probably is a tier
Probably the
1.
first one.
So hear me out. If you can't fail actions for any of these skills, right? Does that mean, first of all, Pyramid Plunder cracked?
That's
if you're going
massive.
desert, Pyramid
going
Plunder
desert.
is going to be cracked for thieving XP. Does this also mean you don't fail at the Hallowed Sepulchre?
It does not. And that was brought up, I think, immediately on the tweet. And it was just like, Sepulchre obstacles do not behave the same way as like a
They don't
fail
count as
check.
actions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a stun check versus you literally walked in front of a crossbow.
Yes.
Does that mean then you don't fail at the Brimhaven Agility Arena?
Yeah, I don't think you fail there.
That's pretty
level is that?
badass.
What
That's
level is
pretty
that?
badass.
Well, have you ever done a significant amount of Brimhaven?
No, I haven't. I'm very close to a guy who has though. Why don't you? Is it really hard to do or
Who is it?
you?
Okay, nice. Okay.
I watched the highlight video of nothing and then suddenly panicked.
And then it
saw
ended with the Brimhaven. Yeah. That's hilarious that you guys know that. Okay, anyway, so when you do it, you'll realize that like it's not actually that big a deal if you would fail things. You don't end up failing things very often. And then also after you spend like 1,000 tickets worth of time there, you notice there's like a pretty hefty like cross section that is just the highway, and you just mindlessly go into that rut every time, and it's a bunch of like really easy obstacles, fast ones, and you will never fail a pillar, like even
So this
without
one's
the no
not
fail.
a game changing
No.
for Brimhaven.
Are agility tickets considered minigame points?
That would be funny. Wait a minute. Someone
you think
posted
you could get
the full
8?
list recently, but I'm scrolling up in my chat and I
Because if you could get
Don't say it.
8 times agility arena tickets, that's nutty, and that's for everybody too.
if
That's
you
like
did
Granja.
it would make Sage Greaves not worth it.
Yeah, you think so?
They would be redundant.
They're going to be redundant after a while, no matter what, right? Because you're not presumably going to wear them into combat. Right.
They'll be they might not be redundant until you hit 50 mil experience.
Imagine doing a rooftop while wearing them.
Right, I know.
You're just gonna get stacks on stacks. On
Two,
stacks.
I mean, that is true. You could also kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or kill 2 boars with 1 stone. Herbivore with these on might be good.
Oh yeah, you'll find places to wear them.
Yeah. I'm just thinking again for like gathering and production. You don't run a whole lot outside of Blast Furnace.
Yeah.
But I am not picking Fremenic, so
To me,
it's a no issue. for me.
Trickster as a whole is an early game choice, and I think that there will be other tier 1s that will be more oriented to a full length leagues play style that will continue to be relevant at the end of leagues.
And I think that's where the Gathering Relic comes in. The Production Relic was also really nice because it was a little frustrating to, watch all your friends go inventory by inventory when it came to cooking. But it was very well balanced in that, I got a lot more fish than they did because I never had to move when they had to.
Yeah.
But they cooked it all a lot faster than I did. But now with, Asgarnia, could you imagine a full inventory at a time at the Rogue's Den fire? Holy shit. That XP is going to be through the roof. You're going
I already did that at the Myth Guild stove.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not going with Fremenic to get the Myth Guild.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's awesome. I think you are correct. I think that's why they're probably not showing it. Because I think if they do like a, endless harvest or something, it's a lot less impressive to look at on paper. But when you break it down, yeah, the other two could be more stable long term for the whole game. But
unconfirmed, though. The thing is that, I mean, which one of these could end up being like a reasonable late game thing? Sage's Greaves to get 50 mil agility experience. Yeah, that's a thing. Being able to stock yourself up on Chinchompas whenever. It may not be a thing because like how many niche cases are you going to use Chinchompas at? Being able to AFK and get blood shards and money. Money's probably irrelevant. Blood shards might be relevant, but maybe the other ones also have like fairly small uses in late game too. Who knows?
Yeah, picking for me, because I'm not picking Kandarin, so I won't even have access to box traps. Completely in the bin for me. If I'm hunting through birdhouses or herbivore or salamanders, eventually I'm not going to use impling jars. I'm just going to catch them barehanded.
Yes. Yes, great point.
I think the fire making, if you don't pick Zaya, that could be good. Right? Because you get really fast XP per hour if you don't pick Zaya.
So the thing with fire making is that like normal fire lines have already always been faster than Wintertod. And then burning 9 at a time, what does that actually look like at max efficiency? Going to Grand Exchange where no one else is doing this, and then having a full inventory of logs, doing one click, and then running in one tick over. No, wait, you'd have to go two run ticks over.
It's two squares. So if you're looking at the GE, like the grid you have right now at the GE, you would have to go, like, let's say you choose the southwest tile of each of the grids of the Grand Exchange. You have to go southwest tile every single time, lighting fires, assuming nothing is obstructing your path.
You would do a full circle around the Grand Exchange, and the whole Grand Exchange would be dedicated to one person doing that.
Fire.
Yeah.
So that you're right, that could be cumbersome, because imagine the amount of people who are going to do this when you're trying to train an early game. Imagine Lumbridge is going to be in flames.
And maybe you are taking this at the detriment of taking a gathering skill that triples and banks your logs automatically. How are you going to get enough logs to be constantly setting the Grand Exchange on fire?
Exactly. People could argue PVM, which I think is relevant for some bosses, but again, it's based on regions. I mean, I don't know. The more we talk about it, the more this is it's a very cool relic. I think that's one thing to establish with all of the relics.
It's cool.
Right?
Yeah.
They're all, the Jagex is, I have a lot of faith in them. They're going to nail the rule of cool for these relics, and even if some of them aren't, as cool as like quadruple blood shards or whatever, they're going to work.
Chat is piping up with pickpocketing Cesars with ice gloves. It's free passive crafting experience and free onyx from Tokol, and there's no inventory fill up at all when doing them, and so you would just AFK the whole logout length at Cesars with ice gloves.
Wow.
That's crusty.
But what level do you need?
That's good.
They're like 90. The highest ones. You 90? Okay.
Yeah. I think 90. It's 90 or 85, but you gotta consider, and this is not just for Michael. This is less for Michael and more for people who have no experience with leagues. When you think of a skilling method taking like, oh god, I can't do that till I'm level 80. Leagues is a different animal. It's a different machine. It took me, I think, Michael, how long did it take me to get 95 Slayer? Like 3 years to kill Hydra? I think it took me 2 weeks in Shattered Relics League to get 95 Slayer.
Definitely.
So when you talk about the progression of skills, right? If you 2-tick Swordfish in a league with the max XP rates, you're talking like 10 million XP an hour.
Yep.
That's an exaggeration, but it's not that far off of what's accurate, right? As a new leagues player, don't be discouraged from like, oh, well, I could never achieve that. You absolutely could. I got my first ever 99s in Trailblazer League. And I mean my first ever. I had no 99s in the main game when I went into Trailblazer. I had my first ever 99. It was 99 attack at Bandos with the barrel chest anchor. First ever 99.
Oh, that's so cute that you know that.
Ever. So you 100% can. If you're not a big skiller or you haven't been playing this game for a disgusting amount of time like the three of us have. And it's going to be fun. You can do these high-level skilling methods. They're all available to you.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree. Thinking for a second of just for fun about pickpocketing with no fail and full AFK, is that 99 in a day?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Without the
In a
what is it,
day
the next
for
one?
a casual, like they go, I don't know. They start with Nisslin. You got access to men. You got access to ham members immediately right after.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
You got cave goblins. You got master farmers. Oh, master farmers.
You just
That's the only one
straight
that's
up
gonna be
have
gross.
Master Farmer. That's a good call.
You got master farmers.
Wait a minute.
You've got
Ooh.
guards.
Auto repocket on Master Farmers probably gets you the task of pickpocketing a Ranar and a Torstal Seed. Those are both tasks.
But they have way more than 20. It's going to be pretty much... I feel like it's going to be like it is right now. You just don't have to click as much. Because if you can't fail, you're not going to take as much damage, but they have way more than 28 items on their drop table.
Oh, great point.
So Master Farmers are going to be one of the least AFK pickpockets if you pick.
Are you sure that it won't just go at your feet? It won't auto drop? Because you can just, sift through the seeds that you get, take the ones that you really want to collect, and then just AFK.
It might. It really might. You bring up a good point. They might drop at your feet. That's something I did not consider. I don't know. They could. I think Master Farmers and Guards alone, you've got the potential to fly through, even with just the Mistlin region.
Yeah.
Until you get to Czar, which again is not that unrealistic.
Oh my gosh. And then the funny thing is that like you get unheard of experience rates immediately when you get to them because it's no fail.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine no fail means that you don't even need ice gloves?
Oh. Man. Ooh.
I kind of doubt it because like maybe we should test pickpocketing to Czar right now if it's a fail animation or if it just doesn't let you do it.
I'll go test it out right now.
Nice.
It's a moral wreck. I want to take a Grand Exchange teleport, and I want to take my Gommel's IUD.
Chat's piping up. They damage on pickpocket, so you probably can, but you just take damage.
But if you take the Undying Retribution,
it just kills them.
You just kill everything in the area and keep pickpocketing. Let's see here. Where is a pickpocketable Tazar? Okay, Tazar her. So let's see. Without ice gloves, you do take damage, and it ticks. It's like 4 damage per go. With ice gloves,
it's 0.
It's 0. There's still a fail animation, like an Artie Knight, core blimey mate, what are you doing in me pockets type thing.
What region do you need for ice gloves?
Asgarnia.
Yeah. I know the Ice Queen is in that mountain. Is it just Asgarnia?
I think so. You have to kill the Ice Queen to get it. You get to start Hero's Quest, which I think when you unlock... Does Asgarnia give you Hero's Quest as an auto unlock?
Whoa. We have... Yeah, exactly. If you go Fremennik, you get them for free for the Blast Furnace.
It's not a good enough reason to go.
It's just that like it's not just Asgarnia that they're locked behind.
So a big piece that people are talking about, like one of arguably the most, I would call it the most influential decision you make in the league because it affects how you do everything, is the combat relics. We touched on magic a little bit earlier. Magic seems a bit busted. How do you guys feel about range and melee? We haven't really talked about range much at all. I know I said I'm probably going melee relic.
Yeah, for real. The factors that go into the range discussion is like, okay, if you take the range path, you're holding out for the twisted bow, but the problem is like you have to get the twisted bow first. So
not necessarily.
Oh, tell me.
I found one of my buddies in a different Discord posted the DPS calc for the rune crossbow.
Apparently, it's crazy.
It is nuts. The rune crossbow, I don't know
Tell
how
me
to,
they called it the Rooney Boy in their calculations.
no, it's just the rune crossbow and
Oh,
rapid
okay, sorry. Yes.
with, I mean, granted, it's like full everything. It's Zarite Van braces. It assumes that you take let's see, it assumes that you take desert and Asgarnia. It assumes you take those two for range.
Confused why they would do that. So we're talking about getting
Missouri.
all the way to the end game, grinding all the bosses, getting the best in slot, with having chosen the range relic, and now like that's just your best in slot build, and it's the rune crossbow.
Well, it's the rune crossbow, I think, over the Bofa, which I think could help steer people away from
Tyrannwyn.
From Tyrannwyn.
Okay.
Because right now, the max hit is 52 with max range with a rune crossbow
On rapid.
with Ruby Dragon Bolts E. Huh? You can't fire Ruby Dragon Bolts out of a rune crossbow, right? Surely not.
No.
Even so, a
Wait.
52 max hit from a dragon crossbow or whatever it is.
How
That is insane.
wait, explain the comments then. So wait, you can't even fire them out of them.
I don't think a rune crossbow can fire dragon bolts.
So then why
correct?
is this calculation happening?
Because the people in the chat that are found are apparently stupid. But that said, crossbows don't dictate strength. The dragon crossbow doesn't have a range strength bonus. The rune crossbow doesn't have a range strength bonus.
Sure.
The bolts do. The bolts determine it. So theoretically, a dragon crossbow would offer that 52 max hit. And with boosted drop rates, it's probably not unrealistic to get a dragon crossbow this league. But you need Fremennik from Metal Dragons, don't you? Son of a bitch. This is not the proc. This is the stock standard hit on rapid every 2 ticks.
Why did they choose Ruby?
Because it gives a special attack max hit as well, which is also 100.
And it's always 100.
Yeah, it's always 100. Yeah, this is. I posted the calcs in the chat there. Even with, I mean, I feel like what's the strength difference between range strength of 122 versus even something like Dragonstone bolts have a 117 strength bonus, so you're still talking 50s. You're still talking high 40s with an RCB. That's nuts. With a range relic.
Can we make sure that we're not idiots and like if these people did this calculation with Ruby Boltsy, what's reality then? If we're determining that is impossible.
Oh, this is against Two Meccans War, yeah. Disregard the calc then, apparently, because I have no idea then if that's the logic. Anyways, in my recording booth chat, Nate Dogg says, Elven Lands has both a blowpipe and dark bow. You can't pick range and not go there.
The thing is that like you can, but on the gambit that you're gonna get a twisted bow without any good equipment, and then you grind cocks until you get a twisted bow, and then you're sitting pretty, and then you didn't have to sit in Elfland for your whole life.
I mean, you could get an ACB.
Yeah,
If that's the move.
that is
Could
super
get an
true.
ACB.
That's super true.
Because if you're going, surely you go Asgarnia, right? Surely. Nate Dogg says the trash bow never hits. Dog, the trash bow every 2 ticks with a chance to fire 2 arrows and get 2 hit splats. I'm sorry. That's worth it.
Where are you gonna get arrows?
Chambers?
Dragon arrows from Chamber?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Confirmed.
You figure if you're going range, you probably
Asgarnia would
pick
be
Desert
for
Asgarnia Zaya,
Amethyst.
right?
You would need
Or
Asgarnia
you
for
go
Amethyst.
Tyrannwyn. But you want to go Asgarnia anyway because you get pegs. And then if you go with the desert route, you go you get Armadillo to go with Missouri to fortify it.
The
Yes.
whole concept, man, the whole concept of picking your regions based on a combat style relic is really depressing. Because
Why?
to me, I don't see a viable combat relic in any like in the combination of regions that I've chose, right? Zaya is gonna offer best in slot range. Kandrin, there's really nothing there to give you any sort of like
Magic.
sway. But then the wilderness is somewhat leaning towards melee. You do get a rune crossbow in the wilderness.
Yeah, and your whole big thing was that you really liked the what's the sword in the wilderness?
Void Waker.
The Void
Void
Waker. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also crossbow. That's a 2-tick crossbow.
Yeah, have fun with it in the wilderness.
With these DPS calculators, I don't know. It might be viable outside the wilderness.
Okay. Talking about something that I need help with, because I have only glanced at this thing and it's like a meme or something. I posted an image and it's been floating around my Discord. I don't know if it was made by my Discord or if it was from the official league's Discord, but there's some kind of meme build that the community has cooked up.
Mm-hmm.
Can you try to decipher it with me?
On first glance,
Yeah.
this image looks like Moritania, Karend, Kandarin, Justiciar, Granite Boots, Granite Gloves, Blood Fury, Suffering, and the Dinny B with the melee relic make the Dinny B one of the most disgustingly powerful melee weapons in the game.
And is that referring to like its spec in particular?
No, it just says the pummel attack style.
The pummel attack style. Yeah.
So that to me sounds consistent.
This is hilarious.
Yeah, and if No Shop says the door scales off defense, the Dinny B could be
Just a nasty weapon on its own.
that really could be another like obsidian helmet meme right there. Like that could be.
Yeah.
Remember when we took our Dinny Bs to Verzik and we killed her in record time? Like that's got potential to be a lot of fun.
We need
I
a
think
whole
that-
elite group doing just this.
Justy Tom, yeah. I think it's stuff like that gives me more hope for the melee relic because honestly, the melee relic feels like the most disappointing out of all of them.
Yeah, and I took melee relic last time, and it's probably mostly because like Wooks took it. And I was thinking about branching out and doing a different thing this time, like maybe magic, but maybe that's kind of like the natural normie thing to do this time. Do I really want to go melee a second time? Well, with a Dinny B meme in the books, maybe.
I think I kind of want to.
Two-tick door? Anyone?
2-tick door. 2-tick door sounds like a good time. 2-tick whip is a classic. 2-tick rapier. 2-tick scythe. 2-tick ham joint if you get it. I don't know. 2-tick inquisitor mace.
Wait, is the ham joint 2-tick?
Yeah, so the ham joint is 3 ticks, but if it's 3 or below, it's rounded. It's halved and then rounded up.
Okay.
So
So wouldn't that not be exciting then?
It's like that for all weapons. I think it shines the most in melee because there are I think 2 melee weapons that attack at 3-tick speed. I think you've got the blowpipe, the crossbow, chins. Is there a magic weapon that attacks in less than 4 ticks?
I'm a bad person to ask. Like
I don't actually know.
manually casting, maybe?
Manually casting is 3 ticks, I thought. I
Oh,
know
okay.
the Harmonized Nightmare Staff allows you to cast a tick sooner with regular, but that's still only 4 ticks. It would still be cut down to 2. Yeah, so magic isn't really affected by that. Magic is just 2-tick across the board. Yeah, I mean, immune to all status effects. Going back to the melee relic, immune to all status effects, including but not limited to poison, venom, dragon fire, with the exceptions of stuns and roots.
Yeah, how much does that really affect your playstyle?
It's nice if you don't go Tyranwen, so you don't have to worry about ever getting poisoned or
You're
venomed.
not gonna go melee relic there, I don't think. Like
No,
you're not
100%
gonna
you're
fight
not.
Zelra with the melee relic.
So from what I can see from no shops, disease, poison, dragonfire, Mount Carolum floor, Drake breath, desert heat, Mortmire decay. There's more and probably should have been handled, but it's very manual to do and time is finite.
It's written like that because this is a direct answer from a J mod.
Oh, okay.
And so they're like, yeah, we collected some things for you, and there's probably more to it, but we don't have all the time in the world to tell you everything.
Mm-hmm. Could break out the scythe at Drake's. That could be fun. KBD is free. I think this is one of the ways that, like, for me, the melee relic might disappoint because I can't bring a scythe to Vorkath because I'm not taking Fremennik. I can't bring a scythe to KBD or anything like that.
So does Vorkath just become like AFK with a melee relic?
Yeah, I would imagine. You're immune
Does
to dragon
the
fire.
giant fireball explosion still explode you? I would imagine it does.
I will bet, yeah. But that also leads us to the Retribution relic, which I know Michael's kind of excited to talk about, and I'm sure we can touch on it here.
True.
In a bit when he comes back. The Divine Retribution, or whatever this thing is called, this is nuts. Or Undying Retribution.
What
What
makes
are the
you think this
chances
nuts?
you get murdered, you have a ball of fire that comes out, insta-kills whatever opponent is back, and you fully heal, right? This relic is going to make any combat relic irrelevant if, and only if, there's no cooldown. If this is a tier 7 relic, and it has no cooldown for its use, do we think this completely changes the way you kill stuff?
Having no cooldown would be hilarious. I think it kind of makes no sense to design it in that way. You suddenly are actually locked from dying ever, even in scenarios where you want to. I'm imagining that it's like a 1 hour cooldown, and I bet it's like tier 5. Am I crazy?
Then this is okay. If it's 1 hour, I'm sorry, this just doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But could be attracted to people that are. It's one of those things. I think it's a trap. I think it's a noob trap.
yeah.
Imagine it has no cooldown. You suddenly have no incentive to get any gear. You walk into everywhere with no gear.
Yeah, that is the other trade-off, is that people have been talking about, like, if you get this relic and it has no cooldown, naked is the best way to do the content.
You're incentivized to not get any gear.
That kind of does take away some of the fun. Let me solo her vibes. Yeah, double sword, exactly. I don't know. This relic, trust me, it looks cool as hell the way it's presented. The video is great. It's super fun.
Good job, Hootie.
Exactly. I think without the cooldown's going to determine whether or not this relic is worth taking. You know?
Yeah, and the cooldown, no. I'm calling it right here. I can actually confirm. It's got a long cooldown. That's all there is to it.
If that's true, this relic is not worth taking. Don't waste your time with it.
For an experienced player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's worth your time. If the cooldown's like 90 seconds, maybe there's attack with that, to speed run raids. But another question with this relic is, what happens if you get killed by something out of range of you? Does it not die? Does it not get the retribution effect?
I mean, how close was he to Jad in the trailer? Maybe that
He's
doesn't
pretty
even
close.
matter.
Does it?
I bet there's like a 5-tile radius or something.
But what if it's next to something that can't historically be hit, like by melee, like Ulm's Mage Hand?
Right.
Right. Or what if Ulm kills you with an auto?
I bet. I bet it doesn't hit Mage Hand. I bet it doesn't hit melee hand when it's invincible.
What about Kriara?
It's a good question.
I
think maybe we should try to hit it with retribution.
That sounds like a waste of an ecumenical key. 12:40 at night. I gotta love it. That sounds like a waste of an ecumenical key.
Hey, Michael,
I'll keep it in mind next time.
Did you want to flex your Irby pet on me?
Welcome back, me.
Yeah.
I did see you got it.
Oh, sick.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
I wasn't here for it though, but I did. My RNG did rub off on you.
Do you have sick
What
RNG too?
What was your 600? No. I was at like 2400. What did I miss, fellas?
We talked briefly about combat, and then we are kind of touching on the Undying Retribution pit.
Oh.
What are your thoughts on Undying Retribution? Because I think basically if it has a cooldown, it might be irrelevant.
I think if it's simply a melee distance, melee attack, I think it's kind of dead content. Because you were just talking about like a lot of instances where you range something or you mage something and you're not in distance to kill them, and there's a lot of things that like can't be one shot.
Are we under the impression that it's for sure one-shotting everything? Like I
don't know if
thought
it's
in
one-shotting.
the trailer that like the Jad was kind of low already.
I don't know. This is one where I think more explanation
Let's see
past
here.
just their silly little video.
Yeah. My
is
assumption
required.
is that like it's got like a 5-tile radius. It hits like a 60 or something, and then you get to
So
live.
in the video, he hits Jad for a 14, and then the explosion hits him for a 168.
Oh.
So even if 168 is that thing's max hit, I can think of very few bosses in the game that have over that at the start of the fight. Like maybe I can get more than a few, but still, you get my point, right?
It could be kind of fun for chambers. Like you just pick a Tecton Mutadial, Vasa. There's something where like there's literally no penalty except for your points, and you could just go in there and keep dying.
It might not count as a death though, so you might not lose points.
Is this multi-combat? Because you like in theory
I bet it
group
does.
up.
Yeah.
Could you group up a bunch of mystics and chambers and then just like set off a nuke and kill them all in one go?
I bet it is.
Finish the mystics room in 10 seconds. That could be fun.
Problem is that even if it is a short cooldown like you described, 90 seconds, you do your mystics room, you walk to the next one, and then you wait 85 seconds to do it again. That's a long time.
Depends on what the room
if there's
is.
5
Depending on what the
rooms,
scout is.
if there's 4 or 5 rooms and you can nuke all of them, that's a 5 to 10 minute raid. That's very quick.
That's if it's 1 minute.
That's yeah.
Or if it's 90 seconds, I'm insisting that it's like a dang hour.
I can't foresee this being a long cooldown because that's just like balancing on that is not very, very good. Because in an hour you can do way more than 168 damage.
I don't think that they're like
Just as
advertising it to people to be like, I'm going to use this as like a PVM exploit. I think that they're advertising to players that are scared of dying.
I think Jagex in the mod team know their player base enough that they envisioned us 3 sitting here absolutely sweating out mechanics in our head about what this could be, and they have to balance around that. Because we're not like, this isn't 2005 and everybody's going into KBD with adamant scimitars. We have the player base for the most part. It was mainly adults.
You're talking like a 1%er out here. You don't know how many casuals are around.
I think that's Oxie rubbing off on me.
If you're one of the first of all, I'm so proud of you, Michael. Second of all, if you're one of the casuals out there who is afraid of death, we do not fear death here at the Xpwaste podcast.
I'm a little afraid.
We do not listen to WeSkillNow's opinions on death, and we do not fear death here. If you're like, I don't know how to do this content, I think I might die.
Sometimes when I think about dying, my hands shake a little bit. Get a little sweaty.
It's leagues. It doesn't matter. Go
I
in
might
and
lose
die.
might lose my items.
You've got nothing to lose.
Imagine
Literally
if I could-
nothing to lose. You don't lose experience. You don't lose items. Go get PK'd by the best PKer
If I die
in the
2
world.
times,
You
do
don't
my
lose
items
anything.
disappear from the gravestone? I've
No.
never died.
No, as a matter of fact, they get reset. And if you could die in front of General Gardor, leave your gravestone, go die in front of Krill, and all your items will move to that gravestone in front of Krill at your most recent death.
Oh, okay.
And because you're an Iron Man
I
in
don't get
leagues,
it.
the death coffer fee is halved. So you can even buy it back from death.
Coffers?
You don't even got to worry about it. Yeah. It's like the word coffee, but with an R at the end. We don't fear death here. So
Okay,
if
I'm
you're
on your
scared
side
of
now.
dying, don't take this relic. Oh, no.
I think it looks interesting. Again, this is another one of those for me where we would have to see what it's stacked up against. Like, what are the other choices in this tier?
My grand
of
assumption
unlock?
is that we've seen Trickster, we've seen whatever the heck this one is called. I don't think we're taking either of them.
Well, there's one more relic they did announce that it all comes full circle because this is what scares me about this relic. The
Okay.
Globetrotter relic that they teased as being tier 2.
And we're not taking that one either.
Because why? Why aren't we taking this one?
We're
Because you
not taking
literally-
the one because it is
doesn't
against
matter.
Last Recall.
Hey,
If
ding,
it's up
ding,
against
ding,
Last
ding,
Recall,
ding.
this is dead content on arrival.
So it's against Last Recall, and they did it in Last Trailblazer, except they made Globetrotter way buffed. So like in the previous Trailblazer, the whatever it was called, Eternal Jewelry or something, you had an Amulet of Glory, a Skills Amulet, Dual Ring, all those like amulets and jewelry and stuff. This time, you're getting like every teleport in the dang world, and it is still not enough to beat Last Recall.
Can you imagine the interface on that thing? Oh my gosh.
It's got to be terrible.
Imagine
right?
you're
Like,
clicking
surely
the
that
text
is-
box.
this is a
You have to go
nightmare.
through like 6 pages of teleports before you get to the one that you want.
Oh my god!
And it's the one you're using all of the time.
It's worse the more you say it.
Yeah, I don't listen. The only reason why I think this one has any leg to stand on is because of Last Recall not being a relic. If Last Recall
Yeah.
is a passive, this thing is goated.
Wait,
Because
listen,
you can
listen.
teleport anywhere.
Last Recall needs a nerf, and maybe it got nerfed.
Oh,
3 minute
nerf.
cooldown.
Oh.
3 minute cooldown. 3 minute cooldown.
Oh.
3-minute cooldown. Okay, elaborate. Why does it need a nerf?
It needs a nerf because you were just about to launch into a paragraph about how it's an obvious pick and it changes the dynamic of the entire league. If you give it a nerf, suddenly there is an interesting choice to be had. Do I take Eternal Jeweler? If that's what it's called, I'm not even sure.
Give it a nerf.
Suddenly
Give
it's an
it a
interesting
nerf.
choice.
Give
You
it a
are-
nerf
you are
for
correct.
Last
It would-
Recall.
It would give it. It would make it a decision here. What is the frequency with which you unlock these teleports? Do you just get like I imagine you just like one tick get them all? You know?
Yeah. I think that you just get them all. And even in the previous Trailblazer, you did not start with the Glory Amulet. You had to like go and unlock that or something. I don't
But
really
this
remember
is
how
just
exactly
the
it worked.
POH. Like you can do all this in your POH. What
You
is the
can't-
draw here? I can get every single teleport I ever want in my POH, and 99 construction it's not going to be that hard. So like having a construction cape will be like.
I
within the
agree.
first
It's like
week
an
or two.
early game strat thing.
Yeah,
And it's
it doesn't
pretty
really
it's a
matter.
decently significant early and mid game buff. But you're right. It gets weaker the further you go on. And Last Recall gets stronger the further you go on.
Yes.
Last
Even-
Recall God Wars Dungeon will always be one of my favorite activities in life. I love it.
Even
Now
with the nerf.
imagine if you have to do bandos, but you also have to survive for 3 minutes at a time in there. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, gear for you'd what? Gear for 2 or 3 kills. That's pretty much all you get.
Yeah.
Your last recall would tick down by the time the second Bandos is dead, right? Just about.
Well, you would be able to leave for free now that I think about it. And then you would have to wait 3 minutes to go back, which is kind of lame.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're making a mistake with last recall if it's a relic choice. I really do. I think hear me out. Last recall's not even in this league. How do you think the player base would respond if last recall is
They'd
not
be
even
like,
in the league?
Oh, I'm going to go
That
max
would make-
my main account then.
That would make this jewelry one kind of OP then.
You don't know that.
Depends on what other options out there. There could be an
It always
option where
does.
you get this like mushroom, and you create where in the world.
I think
And
that,
it unlocks the shamanism skill. You're like, oh, that's good.
I voted yes for shamanism.
I voted hard no. I'll take any other skill in the world but shamanism. Iron Man, the skill? No, thank you.
If I had a dollar for every time Oxie said that.
Hey guys, here's a skill that is going to have agility level XP rates, and every single component is untradeable. But there's a Shadow Realm. Are you fucking kidding me?
What if the Shadow Realm was cool?
Shadow Realm would be cool. We could have Neve back.
That's.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
I'm in.
That's like saying, you know what else? You know what else is really
I'm in.
cool? A volcanic mine. Look at how cool volcanic mine looks.
We're not here to talk about shamanism.
How
There's
cool
no
is it on
need
your
in
journey to
volcanic
99?
We're here to talk about the mushroom, the fairy ring relic that they're going to put in the game.
Surely they don't make that mistake again, right? They don't go with the fairy's friend again.
Except you have the ability to plant a fairy ring wherever you want.
That's last recall, and that would be kind of cool.
But also, how do you get the codes for that?
You just
how do
make
you
them
move
up.
that? Do you still have to access it from all the other fairy ring ports?
You type
What
your
about
own
other
code and you
people's
make all the
fairy
codes
ring?
cock. Sorry.
So many logistical
Randomly
nightmares here.
pops you out somewhere in the world. Trying to go to Bando. Son of a bitch, I'm in you nil. Globetrotter would be nice because it would give you access to all the teleports without having to switch spellbooks.
Yes, exactly. That'd be kind of cool. I believe that was advertised in the trailer, big time.
Michael does bring up a good point with the POH argument.
Right, late game.
Late game, yeah.
By the way, being able to teleport anywhere in the whole world is less strong when you only have access to 1/3 of the world.
3 of regions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of
What
true.
are they thinking?
The more we've talked about this, the more it's been like, oh my god, these relic reveals are so cracked. And then we talk about it for 10 minutes. We're like, this relic is kind of mid. Maybe
Sorry to ruin
options.
that one for you.
like, trust me, I've not looked at Globetrotter and thought, hey, this is my go-to relic for sure. WeSkillNow's dashing my dreams.
Mm-mm.
This relic only makes me nervous because of the last recall implications. Because if it's up against last recall, as last recall stands, it's a no contest.
Yeah.
Right? As far as what people are going to take. And now people know about it because it's been 2 leagues running, right? I was skeptical about last recall the first time because I thought it broke other teleports. I'm like, why do I want something that breaks teleports? And then one of my buddies beat me to it, and he took last recall and he said, this is the way. Take it. And I'm like, all right, I'll trust you. And it helped me have fun in Trailblazer League. Nate Dogg says, big question. Can you use teleports from spellbooks you don't have, i.e. Anna Carl and the Wildy, without Desert unlocked? I would hope so. Surely I would hope so.
Even if you crank this thing to as powerful as you can imagine, it's still underwhelming. So yes, you can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that is the case, because that would suck if not.
I've got a relic that is not on the advent calendar, but is like confirmed.
Well, spill it. What do you got?
The Xpwaste WeSkillNow relic release.
Yeah.
Teaser?
They've
We're going to
sponsored.
start our own advent calendar.
I DM'd JX and I was like, can I drop something on these guys? They said yes. Can you imagine double inventory, but on steroids? And that's it.
3 inventory?
3. Say it isn't so. 3 inventories. Yeah. I don't have any details on what the steroids are, but yeah, it's finally making it into the game.
Double inventory.
Double inventory on steroids. Okay, that tells me one of a couple things. Number one, your inventory is going to get like multiple pages for you to scroll through, so you can have multiple.
Yeah, so mega inventory.
So mega inventory, either double or triple, or you can access a bank from anywhere. Now that is
where the first thing that my mind goes to.
Fucked.
Maybe it's just a deposit box forever.
That's not inventory though.
Well, sorry, like you get the double inventory plus an infinite deposit box. It would be lame because it would ruin. It would ruin triple gatherer to go directly into your bank. Like,
yeah. Because then for production, you have to go back to your bank anyway to get more stuff. If you can access your bank from a double inventory, that is the relic. If it is multiple inventory on steroids, unless it is like 10 inventories, right? And you just like can do the Inferno with
think about
as many supplies as you want.
The implication of PVM of double inventory or 10 times inventory.
If you can access your bank from anywhere, then you don't even need last recall, because the only thing you did with last recall was teleport to your bank.
Dude.
Yeah. So if you can access a bank, you heard it here first from the man himself, WeSkillNow, right? Double inventory, but on steroids. If you can access a bank, I don't give a shit what the other options are. This is the relic to pick.
But you can only bank once every hour.
What is with you and these arbitrary
monkey paws, man?
Because sometimes there's things that are obviously too powerful, and the easy way to nerf them is to put a time limit on it.
This is leagues. There's no such thing as too powerful.
There is too powerful when it removes the fun of choice.
Wow, that's true. I can't argue with that. That was the walking relic. That removed all fun.
Nah, I liked it. Guys, if we were to walk away from this podcast and we wanted to have zero regrets and make sure that we talk about everything, what is the last thing that we would want to leave our people with?
The last thing that we would want to leave our people with. How are you guys starting your leagues journey? Real quick. I know WeSkillNow. I definitely don't have a wireless headset and definitely didn't hear all the stuff you talked with your chat about while I got up. I know you've planned so much in advance for this league in particular, more than any you've ever planned for.
I know. Yeah. I'm proud of this one.
Off the top of your head, what are your guys' opening moves? Because if you guys have never played a league before, it's f***ing chaos. There will be thousands of players in Lumbridge. That's one of the coolest parts about the old videos that I made is I made a really cool opening sequence when leagues first started. And it is like players are moving in chunks one tick at a time without a walking animation because there are so many players.
Love it.
So people are going to be rushing all over the place, fighting for resources, fighting for everything. What are you going to prioritize doing first?
I totally love this. I think it's a topic that captures what people are searching on YouTube a lot. So it's one of my favorite things to like search on YouTube, or even to make. So I don't mean to segue like this, but you're kind of plopping it in my lap. Like an hour before I hopped on this podcast, I released a video with that answer. Where I reviewed someone's proposal to me where they're like, hey, I routed out a route to get your first 1,000 points. It'll get you your second relic into your ×8 experience, where you're like, yeah, you're not going to spend time grinding skills when you don't have any experience boosts. So find a route that gets you points immediately. So I followed this guy's route. It starts with cook's assistant, which the comments made fun of me. I accidentally called it chef's assistant in the video. Apparently,
it deserves to get made fun of.
Apparently, that's a sin. But yeah, you just kind of bounce around Misthalin without too many exact details. It's pretty simplistic to bounce around cook's assistant, get the wool along the way, jump down into the swamp, fish your shrimp, bring those back towards you, with you back towards the castle. There's a range there that you can like try to cook 5 in a row for a task. You'd end up with level 10 fishing. You're at like 100 points at this point. And then it kind of all wraps around into Varrock at the end where you do Daddy's Home. You get the museum done. The Misthalin start is actually juicy, and I love it so much because it's the one that we have in common with everyone. It's before you pick any regions. Do you guys have any plans for it?
I think that tack you're talking about is something that I did very similar on the first league, first Trailblazer League, where you do your early game quests, you do your early game tasks, things like that. And I think it's going to be big for unlocking relics at the very, very, very beginning, because the first relic unlock isn't that hard. It's only a couple 100 points, right? It scales incrementally, kind of like the combat achievements. So you should be able to get your first relic really no problem.
Is it
and then
500? I think it's 500.
If that's the case, that's what, 20, 25 point tasks? That's not that bad.
Do you guys,
depending on what
sorry
the point
to bring this
scaling
up
is.
right now, do you guys realize that there's a different point system this time where there's easy task for 10, medium for 40? That's
Medium
different.
for 40?
Rather than 50, yeah.
Okay. Huh.
I think they made the early journey a little bit more interesting this time around.
Okay. Well, that's going to be good. I mean, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit in Misthalin, right? I saw a tack last time where, like, rushing birdhouses.
Right, that was a very popular track.
Yeah, that was really popular, to rush birdhouses on Fossil Island. That one was big.
It's funny you ask, because whatever your exact strategy is my exact strategy. So I will be watching that video in detail,
Oh my god.
and I will be copying every single tile and tick of your strategy, because I think that
See?
sounds amazing. I don't want to waste my time lollygagging around Misthalin like I'm a noob. I want to be in the mid game, and I want to be in the end game so that I don't quit.
I love
Repeat
that.
after me.
That's smart.
Don't quit.
I think you should repeat that.
I literally will quit if I'm stuck in the early game.
It is so funny you mentioned that, Michael. I feel like I'm the exact opposite. I
know
have
you
been
are.
playing.
You love
I've
the
been
game
playing
for the game, man.
Exactly. I have been playing so much Ark Survival Ascended. I have barely played RuneScape. I feel like I played a lot today. I got a lot of crafting XP today, but I've mostly been playing Ark. And I have been in voice calls with people who are playing on a group Iron Man together, and it's a super newbie GIM. Like Eyes of Gluffrey level, like theory crafting what they're gonna wear for their first fire cape. Talking about doing Beneath Cursed Sands, like newbie Iron Man accounts.
There's nothing better than early game, man.
And there is something about it where I'm at right now that I'm like, oh, I want it. I want that early game. I want that early game bad. I have a mid game Iron Man that I have no interest in playing, and I have an end game main that I actually do have an interest in playing. I got burned really bad from bingo, which was expected and almost intentional, so I could put all my energy into leagues, right? So while I have goals on the main, I'm not like, frothing at the idea of like, oh my god, 99 crafting is only a couple hours away. No, it'll get there. It won't. It doesn't matter. But kind of like for me, the idea of like working to get your first relic, picking like the fucking gathering relic first, right, and just getting to like hang out with people. Leagues is one of the few times, big content releases, leagues, raids, Desert Treasure 2, stuff like that. Anytime where I can just be with the RuneScape community, right? I'm at the Grand Exchange right now. There's a couple hundred people on my world. Good old 514. There's 292 people in it, right? The only people who have said anything in this entire time are bots. It's the only people who have talked. And it gives a sense of like, this kind of sucks, right? And I don't like talking to people at the Grand Exchange to begin with, right? I know how toxic like Shooting Stars or like Wintertod chat can be, but, and I'll say it again, something about waking up super early in the morning, setting the alarm, getting up, making breakfast, making coffee, and then getting in a voice call with a bunch of people who like, we're here for the same thing, baby. We're here to hang out in leagues and have a good time.
Hell yeah.
I am so content with the idea of getting like 50 fishing with like shrimp and trout and salmon, just like off the rip. I'm so, because I think about it like I'll get points for every 10 levels. I'll get points for cooking these things and all that. Like it's a little bit slower, right? It's a little bit of a slower start, but I'm in it for the long haul. Once we see what those static point thresholds are, I'm in it. I'm committed for the long haul. The only question I have is not about how long I'll be playing. It's, can I feasibly get a Dragon Cup? Because I'm pretty confident that I can get a rune.
It's going to be great.
So just I don't like. I know it sounds like a super lame early game from someone who's always like, go, 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 PVM, be efficient, go, go, go. I just want to like cut willows, man. I don't know. I really want to enjoy the early game in leagues.
And we know
because I know what the late game in leagues looks like.
I just want to smoke weed and have fun with my friend.
Pretty much. I'm gonna call my boss at 5 a.m. and be like, "Oh my god, I just so don't feel good. I can't come into work. I'm so sorry." Click, and then I'm gonna play RuneScape because I'm telling you, I don't know. The idea, it gives me a happiness that I don't often receive. You know, earlier, Brian, you said the magic is over. We're not experiencing it for the first time. The rare occasions where I get to feel like I'm experiencing something like the beginning for the first time makes me happy enough. Eventually, we're going to put the pedal to the metal and we're going to start busting out points. I fully intend to have at least 2 regions by the first weekend. Right. We're going to be, I want to do content with the boys before all the boys burn out, and I want to get a lot of points.
I am down, dude. The magic's going to be there on day 1.
That first hour, dude, thousands of people doing content. I'm just going to take it in, baby. I'm going to enjoy every second of it. All the stuff in the first hour, sweaty paths, is still going to be there when I get there. So that's my, not anticlimactic, but kind of not on par with what I would usually say for shit like this.
No.
First hour plan.
You cinched it. That was the climax of the episode. You painted a picture of what it's going to be like on day 1. And I love it.
And it's going to be awesome.
It's Oxie Ross for you there. Oxie Ross, the painter extraordinaire.
I better thank you guys for allowing me to be on the podcast. I'm sorry to the audience if anyone was looking forward to the audience sector that I just ate. It's gone, guys. It's not happening this week. Maybe next week is a double audience portion. Imagine.
Wow. Can you imagine?
The amount of times we've had people ask us like, "Hey, I can get shouted out this week." It's like, we didn't do achievement of the week. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. So to clean things up before we go, community question and achievement of the week will be next week. We could ask another community question, but we probably won't. So just go answer the one from last week because I totally remember what it is. I just want to. I think it's about the Fortis Coliseum. Yeah, sucks we didn't talk about the other half of that that piece of content, did we?
We teed it up so well.
We really did, but oh well. We'll talk about it eventually, I guess, because leagues, baby. I warned you guys.
It's all about
months.
leagues.
I warned you for months. What did I say, Michael? What did I say? I said when leagues comes around, Oxie's not going to shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Guess what, baby? Leagues is right around the corner, and we're already not stopping. We'll do all the community stuff next week. Michael, do you want to do the Patreon stuff now, or?
I'm going to just really quickly read off all of our KBDs, give them a warm shout out to all of them, and then we can send the folks off. How's that sound?
Are QBDs your top tier, boys?
Our KBDs are the top tierest of the tiers.
Black Dragons. You
KBDs.
couldn't have sprung for like any higher boss?
He is the boss.
No.
I
Boomer McBoomerson over here doesn't believe there's a scarier boss in the game than the King Black Dragon.
And you haven't even taken the time to watch Hereditary.
That's all I need. KBD or bust, baby.
KBD.
All right, so we are just going to take a couple minutes, thank the patrons. If you're a Wise Old Man patron, you will get shouted out next week if this was your first week subscribing, so you'll get your shout out next week. All of our current Wise Old Man patrons are on the screen now. Thank you so much to the Wise Old Man tier. You guys are so nice, so kind, amazing. Love you. Smooches. Muchos. To all of our Wise Old Man patrons. But the one we're here to talk about is the KBD folks. Muchos to all of you. Thank you so much for your
real
support.
Spanish?
No, it's not.
Hit up the Duolingo.
But we are here to shout you out, and I'm going to start off by saying big thank you to Alex Anchor, formerly Dickie Bird. We'll drop the formerly Dickie Bird very soon, but right now you are Alex Anchor.
So I recently discovered, because he had an achievement for Achievement of the Week, Alex Anchor is his in-game name.
I
don't
know,
think that's
yeah.
his legal name. I think we
Yeah.
were worried that was his legal name, and it's not. I don't
So
think.
I did
Unless
get
it
a
is,
DM.
in which case,
No, I got a
that's
DM.
his-
Alex Anchor is the screen name now, which I think is cool.
Okay,
Has a cool
good.
ring to it.
Because anyone
So-
who puts their legal last name as part of their username is a f***ing idiot. So glad you didn't do that.
Or they're just really brave.
Well, yes. But no. Balal Zubul, I think I said that incorrectly, but Balal Zubul broke 70. Oxie's dad, my dad, Brian's dad, all of our dad. Clapscape, previously Double X Plox. Man, we got a lot of like AKAs here. Cloud Kicker, Damon S, Dylan L96, Elite Oreo Dunker, XP Enjoyer, Gumby, Lil Drakey, Mark aka iStream, MT Birchfield, our third favorite Patreon supporter Ralph, Rylithian, Soggy Waffles, Seppi J, Seth Shep, Skooma92, SOSD3, Sparky Life, Spartan Fire, Swole Dundee, the Big G Jordy, and the Crayola Crayon. You guys are so wholesome, so great. And I just got a message that I skipped the old Legend Gary. Didn't mean to do that. Legend Gary. Thank you, Legend Gary. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for allowing us to take this little break to thank the patrons. But now I'm going to send you guys off. All the links you could ever want for Xpwaste are going to be in the description below. We'll have all of WeSkillNow's. We're going to have all of his in the
Before
description
we
as well.
go, who the hell are you? How do people find you? What do you do? Tell us about you real quick.
Yeah, guys, if you're like 3 hours deep into this YouTube video, this call to action is probably going to be like the most potent, worthwhile thing for me to say, 'cause they're definitely going to follow it. But if you guys clicked on the RuneScape content here, I'm going to give you my RuneScape stuff. I have a YouTube channel. Oxie's kind of my #1 fan, in fact. So you can search WeSkillNow. It's in the description, actually, to check out the RuneScape channel.
No searching needed.
And you know what? I live stream like once a year. You can check that out too. That's about it.
We're in
Oh
your
my God!
annual stream right
once
now?
a year, and he's honored us with the grace to be on the stream.
That's right.
Wow.
Oh my God!
That's right. Oh, and thank you guys for the Irby pet.
You're welcome.
You're so welcome. We called Jagex and we said, hey, if this guy drops a relic, you gotta give him a pet. So that's exactly what happened, just in a different order.
Rewarded, baby. But yes, thank you so much to everyone for if you stuck around this far. I hope you did. There was a lot of great talk today. But if you didn't, well, you aren't hearing this. So have fun with leagues. We'll talk more probably about leagues next week. And Brian, if you want to come back, more power to you. We'll have you on again.
I appreciate it.
Another 3 hours.
We're talking about leagues of
Again. So if you want to do like a mid-league check-in with Brian, WeSkillNow,
that sounds fun.
that would be great. You're welcome back anytime. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. We'll catch you next week. See you all later. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
GG's.